the beginning, there was nothing. And then there was the Drunken Peasants Podcast.
I gotta get a witness. No!
Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man.
I don't have facts to back this up.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
That's true. Sometimes I cry.
Oh!
Lick my butthole, he laughed.
From the strangest corners of the internet, here to bring you opinions of the world from an altered perspective. Here are your hosts, the Drunken Peasants.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Drunken Peasants Podcast. It's episode 1223.
Do it live!
So Tuesday.
Yeah. We're doing the show on a scheduled day?
Yeah, we're back to our regular schedule. It's August 1st, 2023. We did actual Mania last night. That's why we got some money up there on the goal. If you want to help us out, I'll pin the goal or the Streamlabs link in the chat. Here's a little tip for everybody. If you sign up on Patreon now, you could, the $5 pledge, you could watch last night's actual Mania later on, and then you'll get another private show on the 11th, and then another private show on the 18th, and then another private show on the 25th. So you can get three private shows.
There's so much bang for your buck this month.
4 private shows total, and then you can go back and binge watch all of them if you want. Tonight,
last night's actual Mania was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it, though. I do have some after promos that I'm not going to play until either tomorrow or Saturday because it's a little too fresh, not even 24 hours since it was over, so we'll wait on that. But if you want to see what happened, you can go watch it through Patreon. Tonight, we're going to do the third installment of our live reaction to the Empire of Dirt, King Cobra, JFS, didn't we decide that it's not a documentary when he was on?
Well, I mean, it is a documentary, but it's a documentary done for his audience, right? Like it's his video. It's a Your Favorite Son video. It's not a King Cobra documentary. It's a Your Favorite Son video that happens to also be a documentary. It's like a King Cobra documentary would focus on the rules of a documentarian. You would like study the subject. You would not apply too much bias. Obviously, there's direction and bias in most documentaries as well, but you take out a lot of the direction in a traditional documentary.
I don't know.
This is still a documentary.
I mean, I've seen...
But it's a Your Favorite Son video.
There's the Michael Moore documentaries, obviously those... There was Super Size Me, those all had a bias to them.
Yeah, those guys are all doing the same thing that Your Favorite Son was doing, and they're still documentaries.
Sure,
but they're not like it's you wouldn't say that Super Size Me was a documentary about fast food. It's a documentary about one guy's journey through dieting using fast food and minimal other experiences,
and it portrays it in a very negative light because he doesn't do well eating only McDonald's. We're going to check out some fun stuff. Want to remind everyone that there is a pre-show that we do. We just recorded a little bit of it. We were talking about various topics. We were talking about tallest and shortest countries on Earth, that kind of stuff. It's available for free. If all you got to do is go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Stitcher or any of those podcast platforms and check it out. It really helps the show a lot because YouTube screws us over with ad rates. They demonetize us. They force us to cut pieces out of our show. That never happens over there. We never have to worry about those shows over there getting demonetized. The only downside is you don't get the video part of it, but you get a more pure form of the show. And we're coming to a point now in today's YouTube where I end up having to edit stuff out probably about a third of the episodes that we do here. So to get the full versions of the show, you should go there, put it on the background while you're doing whatever, cleaning the house or working on something on your computer, or maybe our soothing voices help put you to sleep at night.
The majority of people that watch this podcast don't actually follow the videos all the way through. They're listening. They're doing things in the background. And I know this is true because if they were watching, they'd complain about how small my video is because I'm so handsome and articulate and emotive.
So yeah, check out the audio version of the show, and it's a way you can do something and not have to pay anything and help the show out. Yeah, I don't know what to say when he says that kind of stuff. I know it's cringy. It's fine. It's fine.
Cringy?
Yes, it is insanely cringy. All right,
that was perfect. Perfect timing and everything.
I'm not surprised you don't think. I'm not surprised timing. You think that. I'm not surprised. Okay, I'm going to move on with the show. Stop.
Beautiful.
Stop. Please.
As Matt Jarjosa says, beautiful.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on to the first segment here. Here's the news.
He called me sir. It got me so human angry.
People are discriminating against wolves.
Wow. They're laughing at us, at our stupidity.
And you better well learn to love it.
All right, let's check this out. It's oh, dude, this is so funny. Have you seen this thing with the zoo in China?
No.
I guess I don't know. This could be fake for all I know, but this is going around out there where they're saying this zoo in China just has people dressed up as animals.
That's a person?
Yeah, look at the legs. Look at that. People thought maybe it is a bear, like a real bear. I don't know. What do you think? Hold on, one more time. I've never seen a bear stand up like that before. Like, I don't know.
Like he should be wearing a tracksuit and a gold chain. Like he's here to collect money.
Is it a sun bear? It's little too.
I have to see the chest. I don't think it's a sun bear, but.
What? I like it because he looks so happy.
He's just furring around.
Yeah, people are saying it's a sun bear. I don't know if that's true. Sun bears are the smallest type of bears, I think. So I
played a sun bear in my 6th grade play.
I always see them. I wonder if they have one at the zoo here. I'm trying to remember. I used to go to in Columbus. They have one there, and I used to just sit and watch it. And it looks so happy. I wanted to give it a hug. Sloth bears are cool too. That's like another like interesting kind of bear. You ever seen those?
I don't know about a sloth bear. Is that different than a sloth, right?
Yeah, it's a bear that resembles a sloth. It's pretty interesting. And
as long as they're not as infested as the koalas are.
Koalas aren't even actually bears.
Yeah, and they have chlamydia and stuff.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Goth bear.
Here
are there other animals from this zoo that are supposedly fake, or was this just the one?
This was a YouTube short, so that was all in this video.
I think, and the historian would agree with me, I think this bear is probably a real bear, and it's China. He could just be advanced. They could have a microchip in him that makes him walk around like a human. If he started drinking coffee and stuff, I would still lean towards being a real bear. I don't know what they're doing over there.
Did the historian pay us to tell us Eric July would destroy us in a debate?
Yeah.
Tell him to bring it on.
Dude, the historian...
What are we going to debate about? We're going to be like, your comic sucks. And he's going to be like, no, it don't. I disagree. And we're going to be like, yes, it does. Here's why. He's going to be like, well, I disagree with you. And then he'll sick his like cronies on us. But yeah, let's do it.
Six his cronies on us.
That will be hilarious. So once you pull his dick out of your mouth, tell him that we welcome him over here. How about that?
No, you don't have to tell him anything. Just
it's hard to say it before you take the dick out. though. So
give him all the love that you would normally give. Thank you for your $2. It means a lot to us here. Keeps the lights on. Unfortunately, we don't have $3.7 million.
All right, so let's check this out. Here's
Oh, have you seen this other thing going on in China right now? The gutter oil. Are you familiar with gutter oil?
No.
So there's like this thing called gutter oil. There's spit oil, and their YouTube video just came out the other day exposing that all the shops that you go to, restaurants in China, they're like reusing oil they get out of the gutter and garbage cans to cook their food in. It was so gross.
No, I haven't heard about that.
I watched like half a minute of it, and I was like, and I had to turn it off. It was terribly icky.
The historian says, "Why are you woke?" I'm not woke. I just think that something being not woke is a dumb reason to like it if it's bad. So, like,
I'll tell you why I'm woke.
Great. Okay, go ahead.
I'm woke because I have a greater realization of things, and even if you're right, you're wrong most of the time. That's why I'm woke.
Yeah. So,
turns out, little bear fella, weird, in it?
Weird, in it?
Yeah. I wouldn't consider myself woke. But the definition of it has been so bastardized. Who knows what it even actually means now?
I know I'm woke because I'm also broke.
We are going to check out Trump's indictment with a couple videos here. Here we go.
Good evening. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J.
They gave Hunter Biden a job now?
Conspiring.
This looks nothing like Hunter Biden.
To defraud the United States.
Oh, it isn't?
Conspiring to
Yeah, this is the special counsel. This
Adam
is
22 grew his hair out?
He's coming back, basically showing what the grand jury decided as far as the indictment
franchise
goes.
voters and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. The indictment was issued by a grand jury of citizens here in the District of Columbia, and it sets forth the crimes charged in detail. I encourage everyone to read it in full.
Nope.
The attack on our nation's capital.
We're only going to watch like a minute of this just to get the gist of it.
6th, 2021 was an unprecedented assault.
Yeah, so this indictment is for the January 6th stuff. I didn't think anything would come of it. I felt like, oh, they'll punish all the people that actually went into the Capitol. But
the historian's not going to do this, is he?
He's going to give us $2?
No, I thought he was going to spell out the N-word.
I know, for $2 each.
$2 at a time.
Of American
No.
Oh, no.
No.
It's described in the indictment. It was fueled by lies.
This is sick in the head.
Lies by the defendant
This
targeted
is sick.
at
Don't
obstructing
do
a
it.
bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election. The men and women of law enforcement who defended the U.S. Capitol on January 6th are heroes. They are patriots, and they are the very best of us. They did not just defend a building or the people sheltering in it. They put their lives on the line to defend who we are as a country and as a people. They defended the very institutions and principles that define the United States.
You know, historian, I gotta stop right now. Historians got to the I. If historian spells out the word nice, that's a sweet boy thing to do. If you keep spelling out the full word, and if you don't end with a $100 R, none of this was worth your time. That's all I'm going to say.
Historian really should be doing this in Streamlabs. Super chat is for cucks.
No, I like when the anti-woke crowd gives us super chats. Lets us know who our real fans are.
Since the attack on our Capitol, the Department of Justice has remained committed to ensuring accountability for those criminally responsible for what happened that day. This case is brought consistent with that commitment, and our investigation of other individuals continues.
Yeah, so one part about this is that because in some of the other ones they named multiple defendants, and this one it's only towards Trump, like it's all focused on him directly. It's interesting. I don't know if a conviction will come through though. It'll be crazy though. Even if he gets convicted, they'll probably just put him under house arrest or something. It'd be funny if they made him do community service at the Goodwill. I used to work at a Goodwill, and community service people would come through there all the time, like folding clothes and stuff. It's like, wow, you're here doing this shitty job, but I'm actually getting paid for it, and you're doing it because a judge told you to. It's pretty funny.
That kind of sucks.
In this case, my office will seek a speedy trial.
It's terrible because you get all dirty because it's just people's dirty shit that's been sitting in their garage or in their basement or in their attic for years, and they drop it off and you go through it and there's like moldy shit. I've had like rats run out. I'll get like a bag of clothes and open it up and rats will run out of it.
Is Goodwill another one of your jobs that we haven't learned about yet? I
think I've talked about it. I was really young, like in my early 20s.
Every once in a while, you talk about a job, and I'm like, wait.
There we go. Unlucky T.
Heyo. Cheers, T. You talk about a job, and I'm like, wait a second. I don't think I remember you talking about this one before. And I don't remember Goodwill.
Yeah. Be tested in court and judged by a jury of citizens.
All right, so this is the announcement of the official announcement. I wanted to get a little bit of like CBS and then Fox News both reporting on it just to see how it contrasts and compares.
Special report.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm John Dickerson in Washington. We're coming on the air today with the breaking news in the special counsel's investigation of Donald Trump. CBS News has learned that a federal grand jury has voted to indict the former president for his attempt to overturn the results of an election he lost, up to and including his role in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. This is the second time in American history that a president, current or former, has been criminally indicted by the Department of Justice.
Yeah, because the other one was like a New York State thing. So it's his third indictment, but second federal indictment.
In both cases, that president is Donald Trump. In June, Trump...
He's just putting up big numbers. He wants to put up the really high numbers.
Was indicted...
He's the Michael Jordan of presidents who got indicted.
In Florida for his alleged mishandling of classified documents after leaving office. Today's indictment is related to efforts by Trump to challenge the results of an election he lost. Up to, CBS News has learned that attorneys for President Trump met with federal prosecutors in the special counsel's office last Thursday. Mr. Trump then posted on his social media not long after that meeting. And he wrote, "My attorneys had a productive meeting with the DOJ this morning, explaining in detail that I did nothing wrong, was advised by many lawyers, and that an indictment of me would only further destroy our country."
I like how he's like, my well-being is tied to the country's well-being. So if you do anything to harm me, you're just fucking the whole country, basically, is what you're doing.
There you go.
It's weird.
He's here to save the country.
When they had the January 6th commission, I was like, oh, this is just going to be all symbolic. You know, they're going to like say it was Donald Trump's fault, but nothing's actually going to happen. But they're doing exactly what was recommended by the committee. They are criminally charging Donald Trump for his role in January 6th. Let's see what the actual charges are, because I'm going to see the ones that we might think would stick and ones that wouldn't, because I think a few of them might be over the top.
CBS News correspondent Scott McFarland is outside the courthouse where the former president's indictment was just handed up by the grand jury. Scott?
It was at first sealed when it was handed up by this grand jury about 30 minutes ago. Now it's been released. It's a 45-page indictment with 4 felony charges.
4 felony charges, so way less than the last one. And in the pre-show, we were trying to remember how many charges there were in the last indictment, but I think it was like 40 or something like that. Just a ridiculous amount.
Whatever it was, I think there was like over 400 years of possible time that could be convicted if they were got max sentences.
Yes, and he's not going to get that, but it'd be funny if he just did like one symbolic day in prison or jail. If it was only one day, he would only do it in jail. They wouldn't bother putting him in prison for that.
Let me read them to you, John. Conspiracy to defraud the United States.
Conspiracy to defraud the United States. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not 100% sure what they mean by defrauding. Was it, why do you have two microphones, Billy? Anyway.
That's the defrauding comes from the trying to say the election was rigged and trying to get other people to conspire with that, I'm pretty sure. I think that was the defrauding.
Okay.
Conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding.
Conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding. I believe that's when Mike Pence was going to certify the votes, and he's like, go down there and stop. He didn't say stop them, but he was like, you got to go down there and tell them what's up, or you're not going to have a country anymore. I remember him saying that.
Did he say demand? Did he tell them to demand?
I would have to go back and watch exactly what he said, but it was something to the effect like, go down there and make your voice heard, or we're not going to have a country anymore. Something like that.
Obstruction of and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. If that
conspiracy against rights
phrase obstruction of an official proceeding sounds familiar to you, it's because more than 300 of the January 6th riot defendants have faced that charge.
Okay, so so the January 6th people that went into the building to stop the vote or the certification of the votes, they were all charged with that, so now they're charging him with it. They're going to make the case that he's the reason they all went there.
I wonder if him holding back any further policing or guard, like if him holding back any more reinforcement to stop them from going in goes into this as well. Because I think that was one of the biggest things that he did was for so long he allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
He didn't add any more security to it. I think that seems to me, and it might not even be a crime, but that seems to me like the guiltiest thing he did.
Yeah, that's
telling people to go down there. That's one thing, probably not legal either. But when they're there and they're breaking into the grounds and they're going in, and you wait, and you're saying, "Oh, they're good people doing good things," until somebody gets shot.
We love you. They highlighted that during the January 6th commission, so I'm sure that's part of it.
Seth Look says he said, "Go down there, be very sweet and polite. If you enter the building, be like tourists.
Don't steal anything." By the way, everyone watching right now, please like the stream. Give the stream a like. It lets everyone know that we're here. Every single one of you.
So he was telling people, he wasn't telling them to enter the building, but he was telling them if they did break the law to be sweet boys.
I see. Then he did nothing wrong.
The official proceeding being the January 6th electoral count. These are felony charges. Now the second federal criminal case against former President Trump, just released here in federal court in Washington. This is where the case will exist, in Washington, D.C. And based upon the nomenclature of the case number, John, I can tell you this case appears to be assigned to Judge Tanya Chutkin, a 2014 Obama administration appointee who has been noticeably and particularly critical of what happened.
I just want to point out, before we get back into this, the irony of the Eric July fan trying to write the N-word in our chat. Like, what?
It could have just been a night that says knee.
Oh, I see.
At the Capitol January 6th. And
the night can say knee.
Knee means two in Japanese.
Has had some
And
criticism.
is the historian really an Eric July fan, or was he just trolling?
Who knows?
For the former president when she handles the sentencings of many of the January 6th defendants who've come through her court. So it's 4 charges that do align, John, with what we had from the target letter Donald Trump acknowledged receiving on July 15th. It's that language.
I love the pyro that Trump had there.
Obstruction of an official proceeding and conspiracy against rights. We're going to read through the 45 pages of this indictment.
Oh, no, we're not.
Released, as handed up by a grand jury, and it's 4-person.
So now we know the charges. I would need a little more specific definitions of what these charges mean, because some of, like, conspiracy to defraud the United States, I think I understand that. Obstructed official proceeding, that was the certification. Attempt, it's 2 counts of obstruction of an attempt to obstruct. Okay. So conspiracy and obstruction of an attempt to obstruct a whoa, hold on. Obstruction of and attempt to obstruct an official proceeding.
Yeah.
Legalese.
Conspiracy to obstruct means he worked with other people.
Like Roger Stone.
So he's a part of a... Yeah, he's part of a greater crime through conspiracy. He's part of a greater crime through conspiracy to defraud. And then he's actually directly caused the obstruction and attempt to obstruct official proceedings.
Yeah. I mean, if they can prove that, like, Roger Stone was, like, his surrogate between him and the Proud Boys, who it's already been investigated and proved they were there organized and well-planned to get as many people into the building as they could, then that would be something. I get whatever evidence they have, we'll see it. It'll all be submitted. I just wish that there were cameras allowed in federal court. I hate how they're not. Man, we need Crime and Law on YouTube to stream these trials live. It's very sad. They need to change that law.
If Amber Heard was part of this, they would make the law. They would change it.
Yeah, she would fake cry the whole time.
You can't have a court proceeding unaired if Amber Heard's a part of it. They get overturned.
They can bring in Hot Camille to cross-examine Trump, and Trump will hit on her the whole time.
Former President Trump indicted. How long is this video?
We're not going to watch the whole thing because they read through the entire document, but I just wanted to skip ahead to see what they were showing next. Here's Fox News reacting to this stuff.
So there's a
All right,
lot
Jonathan
of runway
Turley, I'm going to interrupt you
there.
again, which is very rude, and I'm going to owe you a drink. We want to get to David Spunt. He actually has
Dana Perino's going to take him out out for a drink.
the indictment. He can read it to us, tell us what are the charges, or David Spunt, there you go. Over to you.
We got the printer going behind me. 45 pages. Here it is right here. Donald Trump has been indicted. There are 4 different counts. I want to read them to you before I read through this.
Is he going to read the whole thing too?
Again, against rights. So I'm going to go through this and look at it right now. We just sent it out, so everybody should have it. We're deciphering who those initials may be. We're waiting to see if we find those. But this specific case right here, there was no DT read or DJT or Donald Trump announced in the courtroom. And this just says United States of America v. Donald J. Trump defendant. So it does not have other defendants listed in this indictment. We were wondering if perhaps it might be Donald Trump and XYZ, as we saw with the...
They'll probably charge them separately.
Retention of documents case where his aide and body man, Walt Nauta, was also indicted. This right here is just United States of America versus Donald Trump. It's 4 counts. Again, count 1, conspiracy to defraud the United States. Count 2, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding. Count 3 is obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding. Count 4 is conspiracy against rights. It is 45 pages, and on the back it has Jack Smith's signature right here. Okay. And it just says right here, it says Donald J.
we care
Trump,
about Jack Smith's signature?
This is on the final page. Did knowingly combine, conspire, confederate, and agree with co-conspirators known and unknown to the grand jury to injure, oppress, threaten, and intimidate one or more persons in the free exercise and enjoyment of a right and privilege secured to them by the Constitution and laws of the United States.
Okay, so he's basically saying, like, you've basically tried to ruin people's right to vote by trying to fraudulently overturn the election.
United States, that is the right to vote and to have one's vote counted in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 241. Dana.
Spunt, thank you. Let's take.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Okay, so there's that. Hi, Sean Hannity. Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens as it unfolds. If he gets convicted on any of the charges he's racked up through these 3 indictments, that would be insane. Because that's
if he gets elected after being convicted, he still can become president, right? He can become president while being locked up.
Apparently, I don't believe there's anything in the Constitution that says he can't. I think that the people who wrote the Constitution just assumed that no one who would be someone in prison would ever win the presidency. So that's not in there. Maybe they should pass an amendment basically saying, like, because they ban felons from voting in most places. You shouldn't be able to be the president if and a felon if people can't even vote when they're felons. They
still had capital punishment back then, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
Would you have been sent to death for treason in a situation like this?
Well, he wasn't charged. Treason is still a crime. He wasn't charged with treason. So I don't think he would be put to death for any of these charges. I mean, some of these charges may not have even existed back then, but treason still exists.
Treason would be if he was working in favor of another country, right? Like,
I think
does it count
there's also
in favor of yourself.
Well, there's also espionage too. That's another thing.
Espionage, like him trying to maybe sell Iranian documents. Would that fall under treason? Would that be espionage?
He wasn't selling them though. He was just like showing them off to look cool to some people that he was hanging out with.
I thought there was some shopping, alleged shopping of them going on, which was,
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Maybe that was some bullshit.
I don't know. Maybe. I guess if there's evidence for that, we'll see it in the trial.
Since my dear Bill Frigidaire poo-pooed my last hard-earned $5 dono, I'll devote to 2 bones from now on. Perspective is an expensive thing to lose.
What are they talking about?
I didn't poo-poo your 5. I mocked your 5. Mocking is jovial. I was being jovial. But thank you, Frank and Pinky. Appreciate you. $2 baller.
All right. So the next story, the only time I ever usually want to talk about Lizzo on this stream is if Gail Cord Schuler is talking about her. But I guess this headline here is amazing because I've talked about this kind of stuff before.
You're Lizzo, Ben. Lizzo is a attention grabber. She should like this picture of Lizzo should have been the thumbnail surrounded by bananas because YouTube loves bananas. Lizzo forced dancers to eat bananas from sex workers' vaginas during Amsterdam trip in a bombshell lawsuit.
Yeah. So for those of you, I've told this story before because I've visited Amsterdam multiple times. There are establishments in the red light district where you pay by the hour and you get unlimited drinks the whole time you're there. And the women that serve you there are basically prostitutes, and people will eat bananas out of their vajayjays. It's a real thing.
Banana split came from.
It's very common. Let me see if I can find.
As somebody who's had a banana in the last 24 hours but has never had a vagina, I can only assume it's not so bad.
It's it's interesting. Oh damn, I was going to pull up the.
Now, the lawsuit is 3 of her former dancers suing her for creating a hostile work environment, which includes being forced to eat bananas from sex workers' vaginas during an Amsterdam trip. Could you believe that you're being forced into partaking in the culture?
This is the Banana Bar. These are the ladies of the Banana Bar.
All of these women
out back
are part of this lawsuit now.
No.
This is like one of my photo shoots from 2012.
Yeah, like out back in like an alley somewhere.
Yeah, this is how all the girls dressed in my photo shoots in 2012.
Yep. Yeah.
And a lot of those guys got canceled back then too, so maybe we should have seen this coming.
All right, here's a video about the Lizzo stuff.
Today, we have NBC News exclusive. 3 former dancers for pop star Lizzo are accusing the singer of sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment.
That's according to a lawsuit filed Tuesday, in Los Angeles. Wait, today is Tuesday, isn't it?
Today is Tuesday, so that would be today.
Today in Los Angeles. It's funny that I have to ask what day it is. The dancers who accused Lizzo, who's
she must be medicated or something.
known for embracing
the days just run together.
Body positivity.
Well, somebody probably wrote that up for her, and she was reading it. And came out stupid because they
like Ron Burgundy
wrote it. They write these things and they say Tuesday, even though it's Tuesday, because people read articles like later in the week,
She should have said today instead of Tuesday. Yeah.
She should have.
Of weight shaming.
Weight shaming. Was she shaming them for being too skinny? Or was she shaming them?
I hope she was shaming them for being too fat. I hope she was like, you big pigs, you banana eating pigs. What if it was weight shaming and she was like, you too skinny, you better eat this banana
I don't
out
know.
of this pussy.
Did she have
too skinny,
fat
girl?
Did she have fat dancers?
I mean, at some
I don't
point
know
I'm
anything.
sure she used some meaty ones, I bet, but not usually. She should be like, y'all too skinny, you need to eat this pussy banana right now, you too skinny. Is that harassment?
Pressuring them to touch a nude performer at an overseas strip club.
There's fat dancers.
NBC News correspondent Stephen.
She's fatter than them.
Romo is following the story for
but
us.
it's not a competition.
Stephen, tell us more about this lawsuit and what these former dancers are alleging.
Yeah, a lot of shocking stuff here, some wide-ranging accusations in this lawsuit. This was brought by those 3 former dancers. They're alleging sexual harassment and creation of a hostile workplace. All of it is shocking to read, but there are also those claims that Lizzo body-shamed one of the dancers for weight gain. That's shocking, of course, because Lizzo has been such a beacon of body positivity.
That's shocking, of course, because Lizzo is a big fat land whale. Wait, I mean, beacon of positivity.
She's a ham planet.
Those sexual harassment claims allegedly come from an after party in Amsterdam.
Amsterdam?
Lizzo allegedly hosted after a concert. Now, the plaintiffs claim she forced one of those dancers to touch a nude performer.
No, not just touch her.
She had to eat the banana.
Yeah.
Also allegations that a dance captain, Shirlene Quigley, harassed people with religious discussions.
Ow, that's the worst thing. Fuck the banana in the vajayjay.
Yeah, burn her.
Yep.
I was going to defend these fats up until I heard they were having religious talks.
Accused of trying to convert them to her Christian beliefs after they said they were not interested. There are also some descriptions of an alleged 12-hour...
We're just going to get a whole new crowd of people supporting Lizzo now. All the people who hated Lizzo because she was so progressive are now going to hear she's being sued for religious persecution. She's going to sell more albums now.
Herschel described as excruciating. It came after Lizzo allegedly accused some of the dancers of drinking before performances. Now, the dancers are all former employees now.
So, like, sometimes they make her seem like a wild child, and sometimes they make her sound like a buzzkill.
She was having them eat bananas out of the vagina and preaching the Lord's word.
Yeah, you better not drink too much.
2 were let
You better
go.
not have too much liquor. You better praise Jesus, and you better eat this pussy banana right now.
Resigned. The suit names Lizzo, her production company, and Quigley, and not all of them are accused of doing all of these various things.
Lizzo looks so dope in all these pictures. She is killing it. She puts the fat in fashion.
For example, there are also racial harassment allegations that appear to be focused only on that production company. Those body shaming allegations, though, are the ones that are getting the most headlines, of course.
Is it? Because to me, the banana one is.
Lizzo,
I didn't see the banana thing until you brought it up.
Yeah.
It's just no.
You were the one that showed me that, because I sent you this video. I don't know if you'd already seen it. But I was like, I saw the video and I heard the woman make the slip up on Tuesday. And I was like, oh, we're watching this video. It's got everything we need. It's gold. And then you were like, this banana shit is wild. And I was like, what? How'd I miss the banana shit?
Many people.
Well, I was going to say this is particularly striking because her brand is...
It was literally at the banana bar. I just like... Because there are other bars that do that. But I found an article. I Googled Lizzo Banana Bar, and there's all these like, oh, they went to an Amsterdam strip club Banana Bar. That's funny.
Hell yeah.
So centered around body positivity. Have we heard from Lizzo? Or
You know, the first time we had a DP meetup back in the day in Amsterdam, and there was a whole crowd of people that wanted TJ to go to the Banana Bar because of his whole banana video, but he didn't want to do it. So TJ didn't go to the Banana Bar.
He was like, why would I go to a bar where they have bananas in their holes?
her team?
Yeah, I've continued to check. They have not responded to NBC News requests for comments, but I've just checked social media. Lizzo has posted 3 times on Instagram today. Nothing about this. Of course, this was just filed today, so we do expect it to take some time to actually hear back from them. But we are definitely waiting to see what she and the other parties involved have to say.
Yeah, you'll keep following it. Stephen
Look,
Roman,
I
thank
stan Lizzo. That won't change.
I'm indifferent to Lizzo. I couldn't name one song. I saw she can play the flute. I'm like, that's cool.
She plays it dope. Her bars are dope. She's really good. She has a wonderful song, not just a song, but she's like an integral part of the intro of the Barbie movie. She's killing it.
Did you hear what happened to Adam from Your Movie Sucks clip channel?
No.
He has a clip channel, and it did like really well for a long time, and then YouTube just randomly completely demonetized it for reused content, but they wouldn't tell him what content he was reusing. I had that problem with a DP clip channel, and I was like, hey, the content that I'm reusing is my own content. And they were like, oh, sorry. And they fixed it. But for him, they let him go for like weeks and weeks and weeks without even telling him what was reused on it. And then finally, after like digging and digging and digging and digging over there, he finally talked to someone that told him what it was and he got rid of it. But now, and we've seen this after various issues with YouTube on various channels, when you get punished by YouTube and they fix it, you're still fucked in the algorithm. And
yeah, we've been
after strikes,
victim to that.
Yeah, after strikes, we lost monetization on this channel once because of an old video that had the 9/11 footage in it. When they fix that, they don't fix what happens to you in the algorithm. So now that channel is getting like half as much engagement and views as it was before.
Yeah, that's what happened when we would get our channel, like we'd get a strike and we'd be down for a week and we'd come back and we'd literally come back to like half the viewership.
Yep.
And it happened like 3 times in a row.
Yes.
We went from like we were doing like decent numbers, got slapped, came back a week later, it was halved. And then it happened again like 6 months to a year later. And it was like, damn, every time you see it, you feel it. And you're like, they're getting us, dude. They're bending us over, and we have no choice but to take it.
So the way he's trying to get by that is just asking for more engagement. So all you guys out there that want to help out, YouTube does fuck channels. When they make a mistake, they may take away the strike, but it does something with the way your subscribers are notified, and it does something with the way you're recommended and that kind of stuff. So feel free to like the stream. I guess even like favoriting the stream helps too. Any type of engagement you can give it, whether it's a comment or a like or anything like that, would help out a lot. So I'm gonna remember to keep doing that now every episode, because when that shit happened to us back then, because they don't teach you how this shit works, we were like, oh, the strike's gone, I guess business as usual now. No, I remember they took away our live streaming for like 6 months in I think it was either late 2018 or early 2019. We had to go over to another channel for like 6 months, and when we came back, like everything was fucked. So
I often think how YouTube is personally responsible for the downfall of both of our lives.
They're personally responsible for a lot of bullshit.
YouTube, you owe Ben and I big checks. You owe us mansions and yachts.
Here's Matt Gaetz getting trolled.
Make way! What are you doing? Matt Gaetz! I got you the underage girl! I got you the underage girl!
You can hear a couple people laugh. It's funny. Then you can hear Matt Gaetz go, that guy's a real piece of shit.
You can have her. Yeah. You can have her.
Now, I do want to say he's saying that he's running into a room with a naked underage girl, so I don't know.
It's actually a rubber doll, though, right?
Right, but he'd be an accomplice in this. He's serving up the underage girl to Matt Gaetz, so he's an accomplice in this.
He's obviously like mentally challenged, right? This
No,
little
I think
guy
he's
here?
just a troll.
He's not Yoda? Oh my goodness.
It's Gomez
This
Adams
guy.
without a mustache.
Remember that word I used on the pre-show that you said you didn't like?
Yeah.
This guy is dysgenic.
Do you know? Can you find out who controls the property here, please? Whoever controls the property.
Can I have my doll back? Yes, he said it. Son of a bitch. That killer. He's a killer. That killer Boglum, dude.
And here, here's
Oh
another one.
If you're watching this, just imagine you're that parent and you don't know where your child is. And the law now says there's a 72-hour period where the shelter has to notify you. And that 72-hour period for any child of any gender or any circumstance is a period to investigate whether there's abuse in the home. But beyond that, beyond 72 hours, you got to tell the parent. And so it's really important to understand here what the proponents of radical gender ideology want. They want to stand between a parent and a child on these important decisions. And I don't think it's abuse if a parent says, I'm not going to get my child gender blockers. And it's...
He means puberty blockers, not gender blockers. Gender blockers.
Them gender blockers,
Fucking a drug you can take that blocks gender altogether.
Odd to hear you advocate.
There's a pink pill, there's a blue pill, and there's a gray pill.
Yeah, it's
you take the gray pill.
If this guy wants to talk about this as if he's an authority, he should at least know what he's talking about, right? Like, at least get the terminology.
If people were educated on the matter, they wouldn't talk about it.
Law, because just moments ago in testimony, you said, and I wrote it down, parents have a fundamental right to make healthcare decisions regarding their children. But if in Washington State today,
oh, here we go. Let's hear what he says.
The parent makes the decision that they're not going to provide that gender-affirming care, what it does is it unlocks for the government a window of time to keep the child away from the parent and to not tell the parent where the kid is.
Murderer! Look at his face. He's such a fucking cartoon villain. I don't.
He's got Reed Richards' white wings on his hair. Richards was a hero.
I don't know if this is true or not because I don't have any kids and I don't know anyone that has trans kids. I don't know anything about this. I do think parents should probably be involved. Unless they're just like piece of shit abusive parents, they should be involved and be able to make the decisions for their kids, in my opinion. That's just how I feel about it.
I think that when you name your child, you should also be able to choose their gender. And
what's your real
from that
opinion,
point
though?
on? My real opinion is that if a child is mentally challenged to the point where they are thinking of killing themselves rather than living in the gender they were assigned at birth, they should probably look to other ways to deal with it.
Sure.
And if it's as drastic as changing your gender, having gender assignment surgery, going on gender assignment pills, it should be a case-by-case basis.
Exactly. It should be.
And if somebody, is pushing people that direction, if they have a gender agenda, they should be dealt with as abusers as well.
Yeah.
As same as somebody keeping somebody from getting the treatment they need.
Exactly. Yeah. And the first treatment, the beginning of the treatment should be counseling first.
It should be counseling.
Yeah.
And if it's pills, if you want to take some pills to stop your puberty from coming in, who cares? So many people do so many things that fucks up their body's natural progression already. Like if that's where you're gonna go, just make sure it's the person's choice and they're not being pushed into it. They're not being sold these pills by a weird doctor. They're not being pushed by a weird parent. They're not being held back by a weird parent.
Yeah, being pushed, or yes, there's like a happy medium. They shouldn't be pushed into it. They shouldn't be held back from it. Like, yeah, an abusive parent would see signs of suicidal tendencies in their kids and ignore it, for sure.
May says, who's being pushed into transitioning?
In a world of infinite possibilities, you can't say there's never been a kid that was encouraged by their parents to do it.
We don't know who. And if that's the boogeyman, the kids are being pushed into transitioning, then let's focus on the boogeyman and we'll see who is being pushed into transitioning. And then when someone says they're being pushed into transitioning, we can say, yeah, we can identify the problem. Yes, they are, or no, they're not. But we're not going to just say it doesn't exist. It's a new thing. Maybe
it's probably very rare, but
we don't know.
I'm guessing it's happened more than once.
We don't know, but the fact that we don't know just means we have to stop using it either way as a scapegoat or nobody's doing it and it's a get out of jail free talking point.
It's true. Yeah, it's always these two extremes battling against each other. It's very strange. It's either all or nothing.
Now, May, who asked who's being pushed into transitioning, says, we assume lots of stuff doesn't exist, like Santa. Good point, May.
Well, parents exist and trans kids exist. Santa, I mean, like, that's such a weird comparison.
That's a good point. I mean, Santa exists.
Oh.
We see NORAD's paid by the government to follow Santa every Christmas. That's a government... Is NORAD government or is it private?
So someone screams out murderer. I don't know who is he alleged of murdering somebody, or is he talking about he murders trans kids?
Time to keep the child away from the parent and to not tell the parent where the kid is. Oh, please get over yourself. What's terrible is when you have.
Would that be if every murderer responded like that?
Get over yourself. Ted Bundy, you are sentenced to death for all of the murders you've committed. Get over yourself, Judge.
This incongruent desire of the government to restrain the ability of parents to parent. And I can only imagine the terror that a parent must go through not knowing where their child is. So I think that's really challenging.
So I guess he gets trolled a lot. You know what? We missed an insane opportunity a little while back. Do you remember when you told me about Kirk Cameron doing his little like Bible reading thing all across the country? Yeah. He was doing one of those at the main Seattle library, the big glass one. He did one of those. Yeah. We should have went there and disturbed that because that would have been hilarious. It was his
or we should have went there and got indoctrinated.
It was his counter to the drag queen story hour stuff.
Frank and Pinky, your $2 donation has been weighing heavy on my head this entire time. Let me know what I can do to make up to you. I'm sorry I ever hurt you. This is just like the time I broke up with my wife. It kills me to know that you're in despair. Pinky, please. Give me a $5, please, Pinky. Please.
Someone said Kirk Cameron is still... Yeah, he's a human being and he's still alive. What are you talking about? Just because you haven't seen someone in a while doesn't mean they just vaporize. Like this weird solipsism I see on the internet is such the weird... Like I hadn't heard of Pee Wee Herman until he died recently, but I always just kind of assumed he was still there until I heard he was dead. Like he was still a thing. Paul Rubens.
Frank and Pinky, why do you do this to me?
Yeah, he's only like in his 50s. So
Pee Wee died. Pee Wee was 70.
Yep.
Well, people don't believe in things like Kirk Cameron or trans agenda being pushed on kids.
Growing pains.
They believe in Santa Claus, but
yeah, those things are comparable. What is this?
Joe Biden had the largest public investment in social infrastructure.
Oh, in this, Biden's using Marjorie Taylor Greene's insults to make him look good because the stuff she's saying to her base that makes him look bad makes him look good to his base.
Glad to see her picking the winning team.
It's kind of funny. They should run together. She should be his running mate.
Boys to at least 25% tonight.
Please.
Or are you viewers cowards?
Yeah, I'm not abusing my liver tonight, too. I need a break. I can't drink a bottle of liquor every week.
What are you, cowards?
And environmental programs that is actually finishing what FDR started that LBJ
I can't stay
expanded
mad at you long, Billy. This $5's for you.
on,
Thank you,
and
Pinky.
Joe Biden is
I love you.
attempting to complete programs to address education, medical care, urban problems, rural poverty, transportation.
I like how she reads it in a tone of voice like he's a monster, but then they put this like music behind it. It's pretty great.
Yeah, well, this is her tone of voice. I don't think I've heard her speak like anything wasn't a monster before.
Medicaid, labor unions, and he still is working on it.
Marjorie Taylor Greene endorses Biden-Harris in 2024. Marjorie Taylor Greene. The Green Party. Let's go.
The Marjorie Taylor Greene Party.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, everyone, after this episode's over, we're going to do our next installment of our reaction to the Empire of Dirt King Cobra JFS review. It's for patrons $10 or above. Don't worry if you haven't seen the first two parts, because you can go back and binge watch them all, and then you get all the cool private show stuff that we've done in the past and we're going to continue to do for the rest of this month. You should sign up, $10 or more on Patreon. I saw one person sign up earlier. It's very beneficial to the show that you do that. So, and I'm actually it's still in the works, so I'm probably going to not announce it until Saturday, until it's set in stone. But I'm going to do a merch deal at one of the Patreon levels pretty soon here, where everyone at a certain level will get a piece of merch in addition to all your other Patreon perks. I'm just working on
button-up trousers.
I'm working on the design for it and what type of merch we're gonna have and everything. It'll be something cool, you know. And then I'll get your feedback, and then we can work on it month to month. So we're getting back into the merch business.
And ask yourselves, is a DP wank rag something you would like?
All right. Let's check out. You think Sturgis is cringy. I'm about to show you an even cringier Eric July supporter. But first, we're going to play the theme music.
Turn off the goddamn internet.
Oh, don't touch me. Don't touch me. DP, are they going to touch me?
I cannot drink every show. I will die. I will die eventually. I'm 42 years old. I'm not going to go out like John Belushi or something like that. It's not going to happen. All right.
Oh, I don't know if you could you even set up a party as hard as John Belushi did?
Oh yeah.
He was in like this wasn't even the 80s. He didn't even make it into the 80s, right? It was like the very early part of the 70s or the late part of the 70s. He made it to the early 80s, did he? I can't remember exactly when he passed. But damn, he was right in that sweet spot where shit
died in 1982.
Hollywood booger sugar. Man, that was the beginning of the booger sugar ride. Ooh.
All right, so this is another Eric July supporter that it's funny that they make fun of people who don't like the Rippaverse and how they look and how they act. But if you like the Rippaverse and you give them money, you can be this guy and they're cool with you.
Holler if you hear me, and welcome to this edition of Luke Targets. As we speak,
First of all, he definitely cuts his own hair. Okay.
He does a good job.
San Diego Comic-Con is going on. It's experiencing its first year in many, where the convention is actually focused on comics instead of being a promotional tool for Hollywood. Hollywood has enough raging, insufferable tools, just like at the Barbie movie, that are there and wasting everybody's time and sucking up all the air that could be used on literally anything else, which is what moviegoers are doing by preferring to go watch stuff like, Sound of Freedom. And besides that,
someone said Kids in the Hall. It is almost like a character Scott Thompson is playing. He kind of looks like a younger, like uglier kind of Scott Thompson.
Okay, he's not ugly.
I didn't say he was ugly, but he's uglier than Scott Thompson. Scott Thompson's a very handsome man.
He's got cartoonish features. This is like a human cartoon.
Instead of that promotional garbage from Hollywood, we've got real comic fans like Nerdrotic having a panel to speak at, along with other people in his circle.
All of these people, every one of these people call themselves real comic book fans, and the only reason any of them have a voice being listened to is for hating on the successful comics. Eric July's comic only exists because of his hatred on the comic book industry. They're real comic book fans, but their voices don't even echo unless they're hating on something. Which is why the second that Eric July's books get released, the credentials and accolades stop. Nobody's like, this book got a writer award. This book got sold a billion more copies after its jump off point. All of the accolades these magazine, Eric July's magazines come before they ever get released, and they're completely based off the counterculture hatred. These are fans that only exist because they are haters.
Yeah, I mean, they buy it before it's even printed.
Yeah, it's all before the thing's released. All the success, once it's released, nobody even fucking reads the thing.
And including Chris Gore of Film Threat, other real comic fans who have turned into real comic creators, like the wise, sublime, successful at everything he does, Eric July.
They slurp his knob so hard too.
I just want to say he used the word sublime.
Yeah,
such a good word.
He's in love with him.
Appearing there at the CGC table as part of promoting the special graded editions of his next multi-million-dollar comic campaign, ISOM #2. And with the irrefutable decline of the mainstream comic industry incentivizing the need for real talent to emerge, it should be expected that the long-running professional creators would accept the real outsiders who are creating their own success stories instead of depending on the mainstream industry to manufacture a non-existent ability to...
So this is more ismtism, right? Like, this is just another ismtism, like another example of it.
This is a guy who has a really sweet haircut, and he recognizes how sublime Eric July's work is. He literally, when he brought up Eric July, he literally said sublime and rattled off that he was like perfect.
He's in love.
Grandmaster Burt is comparing him to Oliver Tree. This is an Oliver Tree look on what I can only assume is a real boy.
He looks like he should be holding King Arthur's lance for him.
Instead, he's holding Eric July's meat lance.
Yep.
To write or draw comics, because your Vita Ayalas, your Sam Maggs, your Kelly Sudaconics absolutely positively cannot. They're too busy being narcissistic losers like the...
He almost talks like a preacher, because I know there's a God.
Oh, that's just one thing I love about him is that he can speak better than Sturgis can.
He can. He definitely
Sturgis
can.
is horribly... just mind-numbingly dumb.
Sure, bud. That's just your opinion.
This guy's great. This guy is fantastic.
That's
He's
just
sublime.
your opinion, bud. 10 people who are professionally defending the Barbie movie, so no wonder they're the kind that are single-handedly...
Yes, we're defending the Barbie movie. You're an Alan who thinks he's a Ken.
Destroying the industry.
Literally, Ken in the Barbie movie, in a very hilarious moment, uses the word sublime. It's psychotic. You're a fucking Alan who thinks he's a Ken, my dude. I want to push you around,
that an Eric
and
July
I will.
Type, an actually successful, talented, wise man who's interesting and who actually can make what comics people want to buy. And what are we taking a good look at that? Do you think that his success story is being responded to with open arms, right, and welcoming right into the brotherhood of the industry? rather than giving a voice to the grating, worthless activists who would bleat like the sheep that they are, all in a fit of psychotic rage at the fact that I just used the word brotherhood. Do you think that this is what's going on? Do you think that we're actually seeing him being treated like the kind of successful person he is when Vida Ayala is never successful and never will be successful, sort of like Margot Robbie as a leading actress?
Did he say Margot Robbie is not successful as an actress? Because she definitely is.
Can we let's go back 10 seconds.
Okay.
Let's try to reword that.
It's like these days, if they need a hot blonde that can act for any role, she gets it. So it's like, yeah, but I don't think
be successful. Sort of like Margot Robbie as a leading actress.
Gotta go back a little further.
All right.
Think that this is what's going on? Do you think that we're actually seeing him being treated like the kind of successful person he is when Vida Ayala is never successful and never will be successful, sort of like Margot Robbie as a leading actress?
Yeah, so he was saying Margot Robbie will never be successful. Margot Robbie as a leading actress has led this movie that came out recently called Barbie, which had the second biggest opening, I think, in American cinema history.
Yeah.
Or is it world cinema history?
He took a shot at the Barbie movie at the beginning. I haven't seen it.
To say that she's not successful as a leading actress there would probably be off. If you compare her to Babylon, where she was basically the leading actress in Damien Chazelle's movie, there was also Brad Pitt, and there was also a newcomer. She did pretty didn't do great numbers for Babylon, but that was a 3-hour movie that was a big thing. She's been lead in the Suicide Squad movies. Those did okay. She was co-lead. She's had a bunch of comic book movies. She's been in a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Quentin Tarantino. She was basically a co-lead. She did very well. She's done tons of movies where she was in a lead scenario. I, Tonya got some critical acclaim. She led that. She's done a ton of stuff that's done very, very well. And the fact that this movie Barbie that he wants to hate on is the second biggest weekend box office of all time makes me think that anything you say from here on out is as goofy as your haircut.
Of course it
page,
is.
Boy.
Eric being invited by the CGC, remember, to do a signing at their San Diego Comic-Con booth.
He actually, the CGC is the biggest name in comics. They're just a comic grading company. They grade comic books. Like PGA would grade a baseball card, right? I think it's PGA, Beckett or whatever.
Oh, you're talking about Topps.
Topps, the mint, the people who grade the cards. CGC is just a comic book grading company, I'm pretty sure. PSA. That was
Overstreet
Golf.
Overstreet is the oh yeah, okay, yeah. Beckett is for baseball cards. PGA is the golf league. I don't know what I don't know what that's all about. But yeah. Overstreet is the guide for comic book value.
Well, CGC is not for value. It's for they grade. They're a certified guarantee company. It's the world's leading third-party grading service for comic books, trading cards, video games, home video, magazines. So this is CGC. They grade comic books. They have a booth. They can't fill the booth with all the people that are actually working for the big companies right now because they're being contracted to come out and sit at the big companies' booths. So these guys see the CGC, sees Eric making some money. They say, come out and do a signing at our booth. And they act like the CGC is now the CIA running the entire industry. It's so cute. It's so cute. Any little win they get, all of a sudden, is the biggest, greatest thing in the world. It's so cute.
To do a signing at their San Diego Comic-Con booth
Booth
ought to be cheered as the passion of the fans for the comics industry not dying, but simply taking a different shape, taking a different form in this now. The
yes,
success
this
of
moderate win where Eric July signs some comic books for an hour or two at a booth should be taken as the holy grail for comics and the future of comics. This comic that has made $5 million and put out 2 books, is going to put out 2 books. It's put out 1 book. It's made $5 million. Everybody has t-shirts saying Rip-a-verse. It's not a verse if there's only 1 or 2 books. I'm sorry. It's not even a compendium yet.
Iron Age. You think that's what's happening, especially the professionals right there at the industry that are going there at the convention? Well, not. Instead, the NPC sociopathy is fuming and finding another bigger place to get itself some airtime across
sublime sociopathy NPCs. The NPC sociopathy is sublime.
Artistic corners of Twitter.
He's rattling off words. It's so cute.
With particular attention coming to alleged comic book veteran writer Tony Isabella, whose only noteworthy features of this man is creating Black Lightning and having the body of Movie Bob, but with a bit more hair and bigger glasses. You know who Black Lightning is, right? I mean, that amazing color barrier destroyer at DC Comics. So long as you ignore Jon Stewart, the Black Green Lantern, not the talentless publicist for the
Yes!
DNC for the past 20 years.
Or
the fact that it's another example of the trope of lame white people putting black in the name of any superhero who isn't white, as it's almost as if white liberals unusually perceive minorities through a constant prism of their skin color and not their character. I mean, Black Lightning is such a completely fallow contribution to the world of superheroes. The only time he's ever really left an impression at all was in a Saturday Night Live skit. That is the most memorable of anything featuring the character. A Saturday Night Live skit done around the time of the death of Superman spoof.
I remember what he's talking about. I think it might have been Sinbad that played Black Lightning in that sketch.
Superman having his funeral, featuring Sinbad in the role of Black Lightning. It's never a good sign when Saturday Night Live is more.
This is actually the same angle and almost camera distance from the Heaven's Gate guy.
Jockey.
Informative, well-informed on any superhero
or
than
Heaven's
a comics
Gate?
writer.
Because if this superhero gets his power from heaven, I think we might be in for a terrible downturn in a couple of months. Was Hale-Bopp coming back around?
A portrayal of the Flash than a $200 million movie to boot. Yes, Adam Sandler with 3 lines that consist of a basic bitch's misunderstanding of the Flash's character is still a lot better than what Warner Brothers is getting these days with nutcase Ezra Miller, who they defended and hid from the crowd so hard you can tell you could have sworn it was more incriminating evidence on the suspicious deaths of 2 railway kids found on the middle of train tracks in Arkansas when Bill Clinton was still the governor over there.
Wow, he's all over the place.
But guess what? Instead,
Ezra Miller
should not be surprised.
It's just like CIA Clinton corruption.
Is that the same studio that kept going with The Flash instead of writing off and shutting the film down is the same studio that wants to keep bankrolling Margot Robbie, even though she has the acting manager of Paper Football and the box office clout of a chicken sandwich, except the chicken sandwich is a well-established franchise, so someone like her would need to glom onto that franchise in order to convince herself.
Margot Robbie is fantastic. She's great.
She's actually relevant. But that is just another little side that we know is all true. And with the way that Isabella carries himself on social media, you'd think that he was the alpha and omega of the entire business for creating a forgettable blaxploitation inspired, because there weren't enough blaxploitation inspired Marvel and DC Comics black heroes in the wake of the Black Panther, was there? And for the use of black in the name, at least with Black Panther, an actually creative, successful person like Jack Kirby bothered to actually give him some kind of character in some kind of world. Hence why when a loser like Tony Isabella becomes another one of those NPCs who invokes Jack Kirby's name to get away with threatening violence against a black man like Eric July, you well know that they have no ground to stand on when their first order of business is to invoke a name of somebody who is far more successful and creative than them, because that is how they convince themselves that they understand anybody or anything involved.
Street. Oh, whoa, oh, oh, oh.
Involving the industry. You don't.
She wasn't even a big part of Wolf of Wall Street, but she was very memorable.
Hey, babe. This obese lawn gnome of a man is signaling his virtue by making such tolerant statements like promising to punch Eric July in the face when he sees him in person there at Comic-Con. And, of course, ultra-liberals never are the people of their word. Just look at all those actors who never actually kept their promise about going to Canada after November 2016, because there's no way that they could have the tax shelters that they would have.
No, because Canada doesn't take just anybody. Like, literally, they don't want a bunch of Americans just moving there. It's not easy to just move there as an American. Like,
and by the way, I want to prove to you how terrible Hollywood is. The 7 or 8 Hollywood actors that said they would move to Canada if Donald Trump won in 2016 did not actually move. They now live in Morocco.
When it comes to their publicists or their agents or their accountants doing all the things to make sure they don't got to pay a dime into the IRS, but they still got to go and pay their dues to the Harvey Weinsteins, or in the case of Margot Robbie, to Martin Scorsese, because you owe your career, in spite of all your feminist posturing, to spreading your legs and pretending to find Martin Scorsese attractive, you dingbat. So no wonder when you get a guy like Tony Isabella...
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
It's a nice accusation. That she only got her job because she banged Martin Scorsese, which, by the way, not the worst way to get a job.
That moment never arrives when he tries to keep his promise about punching Eric July in the face. But it would be something that
Is this the historian, the guy that typed out the knee earlier, the Knights that say knee?
I have no idea.
Else? I would want to know what is going to be Tony's karma for a threat like that. You know, just like that loser who threatened to blow Eva Van Sciver's face off at a convention if he saw him, only for then a few years later his comic book store wound up shutting down. Oh, well, remember, you get what you deserve in this world. And at least it's a lot faster in his case. It wasn't instant karma getting him. It took a bit, but it happened. And this one gentleman who isn't repulsively obese, bearded, middle-aged, and sporting any other hallmarks of being a source-of-used bitch-made Bolshevik has an observation about this man who sports every single one of those tropes. Imagine his response to anyone threatening violence against a black man in comics who did have the politics of a white mom. Would he condone it, or just remain neutral and go on about his day, or would he go through the Rolodex of buzzwords faster than the crackheads behind the...
I mean, you've been doing that. You've been doing all kinds of buzzwords, calling people commies and stuff like that.
And if we're talking about threats of violence, it doesn't matter what race they're against. Eric July was doing the buff up violent, I'll come see me type of stuff. He was the one saying you can't see me. You see what would happen if you went to me. You better not be fat. I'll just beat you up. Yeah. It's like here's the thing: threats of violence. Yeah, you probably shouldn't do them. Acts of violence. That's where we can start getting on our fucking pedestal about things. Like, if someone says they're gonna R-word you in the bathroom, like that's bad. But you're not a victim until they actually do it.
Movie, I wonder. Eric July, musician, business owner, college track star, internet personality, comic book creator, and
comic book? Comic books and video games?
Just reading my comic books, playing my video games, here in the Rippaverse.
Lightning
Got
rod
comic books and video games, here in the Rippaverse.
Proving the irrefutable racism in the heart of the race-obsessed left. If this guy magically snapped his fingers and decided that he is going to start having the politics that actually racist career politicians like Chuck Schumer or Joe Biden tells black people to have. If he was the kind of guy who would wind up responding to Biden, looking that dude in the face and saying, if you have a problem between voting for me or him, then you ain't black. Or if he wound up going through mental gymnastics to defend Biden, dropping repeated N-bombs to the face of Clarence Thomas live on C-SPAN, every Tom, Dick, and nobody in the business that has been kept alive by adhering to politically correct dogma would be cheering him and wanting to line up to meet him, but they're such agoraphobic losers, they'll just go back to what they usually do and pretend.
This guy would be a good correspondent on Fox News. In the chat, Mr. Morden says Fox News is going to hire this guy. This was like when we first saw Tucker Carlson make his way through and he had that goofy little bow tie. This is the type of look that would cut him through to the top. And in 10 years, he'd have he'd be a little more together, but he would be like textbook Tucker Carlson.
Likes on Twitter and retweets are actually a way that a successful creative person is measured. It's not. It's in sales, it's in profits,
He's
it's
like
in actually engaging with
Tucker
real
Carlson.
people. Not pathetic losers who think that Margot Robbie's a movie star, or the pathetic losers who believe that Jimmy Kimmel ever was a talented person in the first place.
Do you think Margot Robbie is a movie star, you pathetic loser? She's only been in films directed by Scorsese, Tarantino, Gerwig, Chazelle, some of the greatest filmmakers of our current time. Some of our greatest living filmmakers turn to her when they want to put somebody in their movie. If that's, you could say she's a bad actress and you'd probably be wrong, but to say that she's not a movie star is dumber than dog doo-doo.
He heard Eric July was on his way, so he's just stretching out right now.
Here I come to save the
Thank you all for
day.
watching. Subscribe if you're new. Check that you're still subscribed. And remember, the best way to support my work is to become a channel member today with the first link below, or shop at my art store with the second link below, where you'll see that I have posters for $200, color art for $30, pen and ink art for $25, sketchbooks for $25, and trading cards for $10. Don't forget, you can also commission color art for $60.
This guy has his own comic book, I guess. Have you been able to find anything about that?
No, I haven't. I didn't look too far into it. I downloaded this video. I'm like, whoa, he's got the ism-tism. So I'm like, yep.
I don't know if someone can find some of his stuff. Just put it over in content.
Pen and ink art for $50, or trading cards for only $20, and any
One of your
purchase or
videos
commission
says he's
just has a
banned from many anime conventions.
This guy? That's
Is it this
funny.
guy, or are you crossing wires right now?
They're probably just speaking out of
$1
their
shipping
ass.
and handling fee. Don't forget, you can also donate in my store. Donations are the first thing you see there, and any donation, that money goes immediately to me instead of to YouTube, and any denomination around the world is accepted. So if you want to buy my work but you live outside of America, or you want to commission me, you live outside of America, since my store can accept orders from foreign addresses, you would have to make your purchase as a donation. Just add up the prices you want in US dollars with another $25 US for the international shipping and handling fee, and your items will ship immediately. So thank you all, and remember, felines, slam it, lick it, suck it, and see you, Space Cowboy.
Remember, felines, slam it, lick it, suck it, and see you, Space Cowboy. Can we play that again one more time? Can we get that one more time? Can we hear that back
I'm glad
one more time?
Scott isn't here.
Can we play that back one more time?
Don't forget, you can also commission color art for $60, pen and ink art for $50, or trading cards for only $20, and any purchase or commission just has a $5 shipping and handling fee. Don't forget, you can also donate in my store. Donations are the first thing you see there, and any donation, that money goes immediately to me instead of to YouTube, and any denomination around the world is accepted. So if you want to buy my work but you live outside of America, or you want to commission me, you live outside of America, since my store can accept orders from foreign addresses, you would have to make your purchase as a donation. Just add up the prices you want in US dollars with another $25 US for the international shipping and handling fee, and your items will ship immediately. So thank you all, and remember, felines, slam it, lick it, suck it, and see you, Space Cowboy.
Remember, felines, slam it, see it, suck it, feel it,
lick it. Slam it, lick it.
Slam it, lick it, suck it.
Yes.
And see you, Space Cowboys. Remember, felines.
Here is Sturgis when he was younger, making his Naruto action figures fuck each other up the butt.
No.
Yes.
Is he making them slam it, lick it, suck it?
This is from Sturgis' channel. Look at him. I'm sorry you're gay, dude. You might be gay, dude. Don't project your gayness onto me, dude.
You know what's better than making your toys simulate butt sex on each other?
What?
Actual butt sex.
I like this better than his new content.
Well, I just like that he filmed this. Who's holding the camera? He's using two hands to make them fuck. Who's the third gunman?
It's Eric July.
On the assy hole. Eric July. Yeah, you get him, Sturge.
Yeah. Why don't you make
make
those
them
two?
fuck they?
Yeah.
Make them fuck their asses, okay? I'll hold this camera horribly.
Well, he's holding it with one hand, if you know what I mean. You can hear him talking.
Why is he doing it for so long?
It's not-
It's not that funny, dude. Let me stop making them ass fuck, please. This is Naruto and Sakura. I do not want them to ass fuck this long. It's not that funny. So do we know? Is he 18 in this?
Probably, like around that age.
For those of you that aren't comfortable with Ben and I making fun of people who are neurodivergent, this segment will be over as soon as he stops having his toys fuck.
I don't know what he is or isn't.
He's obviously.
I haven't talked to his doctor. All right.
Thank God it's over. Holy shit.
So DC posted this, and Apollo and Midnight, or Midnight and Apollo, however you want to say it, they're going to be part of the Authority movie that's coming out in the DCU. So DC has a reason to continue supporting these characters outside of it just being Pride Month. We're going to see.
And yet the only time you're going to hear about these characters is during Pride Month, right? You never heard anything about these characters beforehand.
Okay, so he denied having like a fat neck, but I can see right now there's like some neck chunk like hanging right there, beard adjacent.
He's got hot dog flip over on the top of his neck too.
Yeah.
But he's saying that the only time you hear about these gay characters is during Pride Month. That's because it's the 1 month where they push them into the mainstream. They're there. If you want to look for them, you might find them if you read enough.
Remember how he blocked the Twitter that I use to look at Twitter on stream?
Yeah.
So I just created a new one, and I actually kind of stylized it today. This is it right here. We nowned Zero, and I got the Isom Dick cross as my banner
the cross
image.
Picture.
And I got the fat tittied yawn from Sturgis here.
That's the young lion growling.
If you want to follow me, if you're out there and you want to follow this account, it's at Sturgis Moobs. At Sturgis, Sturgis, Moobs, Moobs. I've been tweeting all day. I made this amazing video about Eric July being a trans parent. I've been going around here and there doing like I respond. That's just your opinion, bud. Went free. That's just your opinion, bud. I've been like going around, telling people. What did I do with? They were like, the short box is coming. That's what they call this, the short box. So I said, this is great. Reminds me of the short bus I ride. Oh man,
it is a good bus.
So like, Eric July made fun of this woman who has like hair loss, I guess. So I said, Eric, you're so hilarious. This crazy libtard should cover her baldness with a hat like you do. Yeah.
Anything like that, right? From DC.
You should live stream yourself responding to them. Monetize the haters.
Monetize the haters.
That's what they do.
Authority over the next couple of years, I'm going to assume. But for some reason, this is an issue.
It is an issue because they're trying to push sexual identity onto children by claiming that this is for kids that need it. Meanwhile, there's no such thing as gay kids or trans kids.
Yeah, this is the thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is the thing he really says a lot.
There's no such thing as gay kids.
They don't exist. Cool. It goes back to the Santa Claus thing we were saying earlier.
Reason this is a problem for them, and that is a virtue
because it is going after children. It's essentially targeting towards children because they're putting it in the post that it's
Peter Banner in the chat has a hot take. Peter Banner says, all right, no such thing as gay or trans kids, despite the fact that they do exist. Whoa, careful with the hot take, Peter Banner. Careful.
Need it.
Signal. It's a virtue.
It's not a virtue signal when it's plain as day right there in the post.
Signal, because they are telling you that this is an issue, but all the other sexualization in comic books is not, because they'll never.
Because the straight sexualization that you're going to complain about is normal.
You made a video that's still on your channel of action figures having gay sex together.
But they're not kids, they're action figures. Sure, they're toys for kids.
But he's saying just being gay isn't normal. So he's saying it's okay if there's like sexualization in comics as long as it's straight, because that's normal.
I promise, Ben, making your Naruto characters bang each other in the butt is not normal.
Men being with women is a normal sexuality. That's why. The rest of it's not normal, not the norm. It's not
the thing. Sturgis is out there looking for them and he hasn't found any yet.
Say that it's not okay.
I know there is no gay kids because I've been hunting wascally gay kids for years now, and I've caught 0 gay kids.
Men could love men, women could love women. You're free to do that if that's how you feel, but it's not the norm.
Thank you for your permission, Dudley.
Is essentially
right?
what he's saying. Hello everyone, I'm Renowned Zero.
Reverend Veritas says maybe it's not normalized because we live in a predominantly heteronormative society. Or maybe it's not normalized because there's just not a high enough percentage for it to be normal. Of course, it's not going to be normal. It's going to be an outlier. Whether something is normal or not does not delegitimize its existence.
Talking about some more detractors as the ISO number 2 fulfillment heats up today. It starts today, and I even got my email all ready for it. But I just want to start the video by saying...
Honest Red says gay and trans kids exist. Up until I read him say that, I thought they did, but I never trust Honest Red, so...
I do not interact with anyone I'm showing on this video, whether it be Twitter, YouTube, or any social media. I do thank everyone who is subscribed. I appreciate you watching all the videos. They're currently moving into monetization. I do have to wait for some stuff.
I like how somebody who is completely abnormal themselves is the arbiter of normal. Sturgis, you can't even pronounce wascally wabbit.
Everyone who's sent me a message congratulating me on my 1,000 subs. I appreciate all of you for being here. As of right now, the ISO number 2 campaign is currently...
And yeah, congratulations on the 1,000 subs, Sturgis. That's a great success. Hopefully you continue reading these boring ass fucking goal numbers and social blade numbers. Whatever soothes your inner tism, baby.
2.086 million. Still got a month to go here with 11,372 cover A's, 11,774 cover B's, 3,732 cover C's.
Hank Chill says Sturgis is Elmer Crud. I thought Elmer Chud was better. I feel like he's Elmer Chud.
1,969 cover D's with over 2,000 total books donated, 17,329 total purchasers. Like I said, still over a month to go. We did get some pictures here, get the orders out. These are things that are on Eric July's Twitter account. We have one of the artists of ISOM here, Igor, coming to us from Brazil. My fellow Brazilians can't complain about what Eric is paying, and if you think it's just because we're taking advantage of the currency conversion, it ain't. Eric is also paying Americans to work with him, so his salaries are competitive to everyone. We just happen to be talented. Absolutely.
I do love good American companies
100%
that outsource outside of America.
Talented. This is, of course, Gabe Al-Taib saying, I've said it many times, Eric July pays more than Marvel or DC, and he pays faster. Lol at the SJW haters. Keep crying weirdos.
Yes, he pays more than Marvel and DC, and he pays faster for one book. For one book. Oh, 2 books now. Marvel and DC pay less, and they pay longer, and they pay far more because they're doing so many books. This is so stupid.
Because I cover a content creator that I like. I'm covering a topic that I like. And my viewers tune in to watch it, which is why I will continue to do it. So, we got warehouse here, the truck coming in, a UPS. Got all these orders getting sent out to the UPS. We also got the announcement for the Yaira artist right here. Name is Deborah Sarita, which I'm sure it's not really said like that because it is Brazilian.
Olá a todos, meu nome é Débora Caritá, eu sou desenhista e ilustradora e trabalho.
So they hired this woman to draw, I don't really have a lot of problems with the art. That's the one thing I don't really. I haven't seen her art, but the art in the last ISOM was fine. Like I didn't have any real big problems with that. It kind of carried the book as far as it could go. It
was fine. I don't have problems with the book itself either because it's not interesting. It's not intriguing. Like I don't really care that it sucks. My beautiful love of this book is that Eric July responds to everything like a fucking lol cow when he's over here acting like the entire woke mob are the lol cows. You're just the same fucking goofball on the other side of the partisan line, you dork.
She is also Brazilian, which is why she's speaking in Portuguese, which is the language they use over in Brazil.
Oh, yeah?
That's actually how the proper way to say it.
He's teaching us the proper way to say it.
Thank goodness. He's all about enunciation and
go to Sturgis for the proper way to say things.
De quadrinhos. Para editoras como Marvel, Dark Horse, IDW, Dynamite e várias outras.
Yeah, I feel like Eric July, since he has all this money now, he's got the artist, he should just hire someone else to do the writing for him so that the whole book doesn't read like Eric July talking to himself.
I think isn't he doing that with like the Yara book? Didn't he hire 2 women writers?
He should do it with all of it.
I think he's hiring. Well, I mean, I think this is where it starts to become the Rippaverse when he starts letting other people write in within him, I guess. But yeah, so far he's got 2 books in, and maybe he becomes a great writer. He's got all the knowledge at his hands. He's on the internet all the time. He's in the community. Maybe he'll get better. Who knows?
If the plan is the only way he'll get better is if he scraps this Isom gets his powers from Jesus idea that everyone knows is about to happen. Hopefully he surprises us.
Who knows? He might run with this and might find some way to make it interesting. I'm not going to say he can't or won't. I'm going to say even if he did, I don't care.
expressing how she has actual experience in the comic book industry versus the trash artists and writers that they hire.
Peter Banner says the writers for Yara is the Soska sisters who directed See No Evil 2. Did you ever see See No Evil 2?
No.
Holy shit, that was Kane. Was Kane in that? He was in the sequel. Did I see the sequel? I can't remember.
Who have no experience and their books are absolute dog shit.
Mas, desta vez, eu gostaria de convidar vocês a se juntarem a mim numa nova aventura, desta vez pela Ripaverse, com a personagem Yaira.
Ripaverse.
Yaira é uma personagem feminina incrível que teve seu roteiro escrito pelas igualmente incríveis irmãs Soska.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
We got even some images of her artwork that she's done.
Cool, yeah, good artwork.
You can see it here, so at least
Oh,
you have
is
some
she the
idea
illustrator?
of the type of artwork she does. So we got it all here. Looks pretty dang good. So moving on to the next thing. So apparently the DP crew is going to do another live stream about me because they can't stop thinking about me. They're essentially have me living in their heads rent free.
Ben's even made a fan account for you on Twitter.
Yep.
Apparently this guy is claiming that 75% of my viewership is going to leave. I don't think so.
That's your opinion, bud.
Because my viewers literally come to my channel to watch people.
My mom says I'm cool.
Like you fail at trying to do anything possible to shut me up.
I don't want to shut you up.
He does a surprise crossover and it turns out what is thinks is Jesus is one of the Warhammer Chaos gods.
Nice. Let's go.
That's some like Shyamalan twists.
And it's never going to happen. Try as you might, do whatever you want. Clearly your audience is getting sick of it because I've seen comments where your audience really doesn't care anymore about me, but you're going to continue to do live streams and you're going to continue to...
Someone tweeted at me today and they said when we talk about Sturgis, it's their favorite part recently.
Stay irrelevant. And
Yeah, well, some people have said otherwise to me. So we're going to have to make them fight.
Oh, no. How about people have different opinions?
Have a dead channel like you do.
If you guys have different opinions, come to our Discord and fight all day long in our Discord.
108,000 subs. And somehow you can only muster up like 150 people in a live stream. And it's usually the same people. So you're not
we keep getting owned by this guy. Why do you like getting punched in the face, Ben? Why do you keep going back to get owned by Sturgis, Ben?
I must be a
You're punch
masochist.
drunk.
But
you need to break away from this vicious cycle.
We will show here some comments that were left by my fan base talking about you.
They're always the same people, though.
And laughing at you. Because that's what my fan base does. My fan base laughs at you because you're so...
Oh, damn. My fan base doesn't... Yeah, my fan base doesn't laugh at him.
I didn't know we were the butt of the joke here. I thought we were the ones making the jokes, Ben. You signed me up for this shit, Ben. You better get me out of it.
So dumb that you think you attaching yourself to my name is somehow going to get you some new viewers. And
No, I don't care about that.
And it's been proven time and time again that your channel's not growing.
New viewers? What do you think this is? We've been losing viewers years before you ever showed up.
The same thing over and over again. The actual definition of insanity. So,
which is not the actual definition of insanity, but it's cute that people say it is.
As long as you control the IP, you have creative control. Exercise well, this control will do just fine, and be faithful to the source material, which is all anyone wants. That is exactly right. Keep living in their heads rent-free, brother. Whack detractors. We aren't angry or hateful. We're upset by the deletion of our franchises.
Yeah, see, this person was like, I love it when you guys cover Sturgis. It's become one of my favorite segments on the show. And I responded with, all right, bud, that's just your opinion.
Success of Ripperverse and Comicsgate proved that we just want good material without an ideologic agenda and are happy when we get it. Congrats on reaching 1K. Of course, we have one of your weirdo people here, and I said, yawn, get better material, keep coping. I'm sure that'll help you in the long run.
Get better material, continue to cope. Gotta love when someone tells you to get better material and then accuses you of coping.
can't even keep a straight face with how hard he's lying. Why do these weirdos think Eric's satisfied customers are angry and hateful? It's actually the opposite because they're happy with the product. The only ones hating are the woke weirdos. Eric and his paying customers and fans are laughing at these creepy weirdos. But it's effing trash, and Eric is a talentless cuck. Yeah, the guy who has a wife that helps him with his business, the wife that he promotes her business in his comic book. Yeah, that's the cuck. Not the guy commenting on someone's channel.
Sturgis, having a wife is usually one of the first things you need to be cucked. Like, saying that he has a wife is not any sort of excuse that he's not being cucked. That's literally you're a cuck because you have a wife. You have to prove to us that he doesn't like to watch his wife get banged, because the fact that he put her out in the back of his comic book with a little advertisement for his jewelry was just asking for the fucking detractors to hate on her. They were asking for the detractors to fuck her. So even if he's not a cuck, he wanted her to get fucked by putting that out there at the end of the book. Just saying, metaphorically, not directly, obviously. It's not literally fucked. But he was asking for trouble, brandishing her fucking jewelry thing at the end of a comic book. How many comic books do you see an advertisement for some weird fucking jewelry?
They don't.
Not often.
Like I don't do this beta male shit.
I don't do this beta male shit. I make
call.
my Naruto toys fuck each other in the butt like a real alpha boy.
Call a black man this word, but he also called a woman this and bullied her off YouTube, which I was already told that.
Yeah, this is something. Yeah.
Did we bully one of his fans off YouTube?
No, he's talking about the Saggy Melons person that he was claiming that somebody else bullied her off, and someone else was like, no, she just left because she had personal shit.
Yeah, but I was hoping it was one of our wins.
That's what happened with Lucian Autobot back in the day.
Yeah, which, ended up burning us. He was a great source of content.
Finally, Keith has Streamlabs.
Cool.
Hey, Keith. Cheers, brother.
And he does pull up.
Thank you for the dodo.
He had to pull up Social Blade, tout those huge numbers he's putting up. What else do we got? We got here's Nick Fuentes saying that if you have sex, you'll turn gay eventually.
Fact.
You should not seek sex, because if you seek sex, you will become gay, because sex is a gay act. It's totally gay.
How many push-ups can Sturgis do? I think he's too fat to even be speaking about DP. Does Struggies even get women?
Yeah. Yeah, Struggies does not get women. He's got a little weird woman in his chat that flirts with him, so maybe she's not a dude.
Thing you could do is to never have sex. And everyone knows that's true. Want to know why? Because you retain your semen and you sublimate your sexual desire to creating things. That's why celibacy
is true.
The straightest thing. Because who are the celibates? Monks?
Some of my greatest work came out during my celibate period.
Where you had like a celibate period?
Yes. I was celibate for like 10 years. Put out 2 albums. It was fantastic. I have to stop having sex so I can put out another album.
Productivity.
Priests, soldiers, okay? Great scientists, philosophers, geniuses.
King Cobra. Look at the growth King Cobra's experienced in the last 6 years. Celibacy works.
I thought he was only on a 4-year dry spell. Wasn't it 4 years?
2 years ago it was.
Okay. So it is a 6. Okay. I forget. It's not that important to me. It isn't to him either, apparently.
Sure.
Wow, Ben.
Robert Driver sent $20. A while ago, you mentioned that during your meeting with Trump, prior to his direct confrontation regarding yes electability, that you had some initial interactions with Trump, and that, in your words, he was very impressed by you. Do you recall these interactions? Wondering how you charmed Trump.
So,
If we don't donate to DP,
initially,
Nikki Fountains wins.
It's true. That's true.
He wasn't talking to me at all. Like, I could tell that, like, he wouldn't engage with me initially. Because it was Trump, yay, Jamar, me, Karen, in a circle at his table on the patio.
He's fondly remembering his dinner with Trump.
And I'm literally, like, directly across. So it's Trump, yay, across from me. And I'm flanked by Karen next to Trump, Jamar next to Ye, and I'm across from them. And initially, he wasn't talking.
So
he was talking.
It's a Trump, Kanye, Nick Fuentes, and then a woman named Karen and a man named Jamar.
Yes.
Pentagram. Does the Karen call the cops on Jamar? What's happening here?
Yeah, I'm not sure which Karen he's referring to.
He was even talking to Jamar because he was trying to be
McDougal?
polite. I think because they were both black and, like, you know, hyping them up.
Karen was asking Jamar what he was doing in that building. Like, what are you doing here? Do you live here?
And he wasn't really talking. And he knew Karen, so he wasn't really talking to me at all. But I jumped in. You know, I found my moment because I think I'm very good at this. I play things very conservatively.
At WTF, the last dude was saying, but Billy is a handsome man.
Thank you, Keith. Glad you got this Streamlabs working. I've been waiting for somebody to back me up tonight. Ever since Frank and Pinky dropped down to the $2, I've been heartless. My love has been stolen. I'm just sitting here naked, and now I got you, Keith. And honestly, Frank and Pinky did come back too. So it was hard though. There was dark times for young Bill Fridge. My second heart failure this month.
In social situations, maybe that's a fault. I'm like this in all things. Maybe I'm giving it away a little bit, but I think people can tell. When I play video games in social settings, in all things, I am very much a defensive player. I'm a big believer in defense. And the reason why is because you get to get more information. When you lean back and you sort of watch and let the game come to you a little bit, you kind of can understand the flow, and it prevents miscalculations. It allows you to kind of see the full field and get a sense. That's very much my position. Is I
We
like
got
to
to pause
get
real quick, Ben. We got to pause.
Why?
Now, there's a comment in the chat from Chevy. Says you should show how Cardi B lip syncs. Just like Milli Vanilli, it's messed up. People pay for tickets, and she just lip syncs.
See, here's the thing, though. Milli Vanilli didn't actually even sing the music on the album. Someone else did, and they just picked two more handsome guys to lip sync it.
Yeah.
And they created the illusion that these guys were the guys you were listening to on the record. And Cardi B, you are hearing her on the record, but she just maybe she just sucks live.
And
you know, who knows? But it's actually her.
The majority of rap performers that are on a popular level,
I'll be right back,
do the exact same thing. It's a very, very common thing for them to have a complete vocal track behind them. It's not it's not like a Milli Vanilli situation. What we should talk about is how messed up it was for them to shit on. Remember Ashley Simpson when she had a mic malfunction on Saturday Night Live and she was shut down? There must have been some sort of contract dispute with Ashley Simpson and Jessica Simpson, probably, where they both had career hit attacks, you know? Because so many people do what Ashley Simpson does, and they didn't get knocked down. Somebody was trying to hit that woman in that moment. She was probably trying to negotiate a contract, and they just dumped her. That was messed up. Yeah, but Milli Vanilli never wrote their own stuff. They were hired by the people who made that to be these two hot-looking dudes for the music video, and their voices were not connected. Yeah, Kodak Black doesn't even rap at his shows. He just vibes to his own music. It's so common for people to do that. Me, I obviously perform with no backup vocals on my verses. For my hooks, I always have my double layers in my hooks. I mute the main layer of my hook and I sing the main layer, but I have all the double layers and my hooks are all doubled. They're all deeply doubled.
By the way, not only did Milli Vanilli not write their stuff, they didn't actually sing it either. Not even in the studio.
Yeah, that's what I just said while you were gone.
Okay, yeah.
Reiterated.
Yeah, so it's like they had nothing to do with the music. They were just like the faces of that music, and they won a Grammy for it. I think it's the only Grammy that's ever been taken away. But I could be wrong about that.
And most pop artists don't write their own stuff. And those that do write their own stuff still have a ton of other people writing with them.
Right.
Very rarely is somebody the entire creator of all their vocals, and even more rarely do they do their vocals and their backing music. It's almost all collaborative. I don't do my backing music on my songs. I work with other people.
Yeah, like even Michael Jackson.
Monica says Billy the Handsome Dude. That's also refutable. They call me Billy the Fridge. The branding is off on that.
Yeah, like even Michael Jackson, he had like writing credits, but he didn't do most of the writing of his own music. Obviously, he sang everything though, and even if you ever listen to Michael Jackson, he sings his own backing vocals too. Like when you hear the backing vocals, you can tell it's him.
I like to develop a sense of
things. Did you get that video of Just Pearly Things on Piers Morgan?
I watched that like a month ago or something. I'll have to check.
It came out like a week ago, but it's
So I was kind of getting a feel of things out. And by the way, initially I was also just starstruck.
If
I was
any
also
of
just
y'all
like,
tried singing / rapping while moving and dancing for long periods of time, but that's some merit.
MC Hammer would do it.
Them backtracks are show savers.
Yeah, when it comes to a live show, you have to pick and choose what part of the performance you're giving your all to, and sometimes it's a lot easier to have the lyrics there, and it allows for less fucking up. And I don't like it. I don't think it's fantastic, but it's pop music. So what are you really gonna do? It's fucking pop music.
I can't believe that Donald Trump is right in front of me, and so is Ye. Like, how did I end up here? This is crazy. I never thought this would happen.
Question.
This is crazy. I'm looking at the menu. We're having dinner with Donald Trump and Ye. We're having Thanksgiving dinner, and the waitress comes by and she's like, tonight? And this is because Ye requested it. Ye wanted a Thanksgiving dinner. They go, tonight? Our special is a crab cocktail salad, and for dinner we have a turkey option. We have Thanksgiving turkey, mashed potatoes, and stuffing. And I think everybody ordered the same thing. Maybe Karen ordered something different, of course. And
yeah, so he's geeking out over this. Let's move on to I'm getting the other thing. Now I'm going to show T-Bob's opinion on Baked Alaska.
Oh.
Baked Alaska. Well, somebody asked me about him several months ago, and I laid into that motherfucker. That's probably when he blocked me. And because I was talking about it then, like 6 months ago. Aren't you the fucking Fed that was in the White House that was egging the people to go in? Weren't you the guy that was caught out in back of the White House? What about that scenario? Yeah. And,
it wasn't the White House, by the way. It was the Capitol, but okay,
this
Bob.
motherfucker on videotape.
He was caught in the White House egging people on.
He's the top of the fucking news when it comes to January 6 events. So how could anybody not know that Baked Alaska is a Fed? I don't get that. I do not know how anybody claims to be.
This might be the part where the broken clock is right.
It is.
Above the age of fucking 6 does not know that Baked Alaska is a fucking Fed. I don't know that. It's like not knowing that Joe Biden is the president right now. You got to be pretty fucking retarded not to know that. And I could probably ask some 5 and 6 year olds that actually know that. But for Elisa to not know that he's a Fed at her level.
Oh, that's why he's like, because Elisa's been hanging out with Baked Alaska, so he's probably like, why are you hanging out with that Fed? And she's like, Bob, I don't know that he's a Fed. I can hear the conversation in my mind right now.
And now she might be hanging out with him because he's a Fed, because she needs a Fed on her side. Things went bad between her and Barry Mezzi. And I heard Barry Mezzi has sent in a complaint to the FBI over Elisa Jordana and the entire circle of people that were trolling him and causing irreparable damages.
Oh no!
So I know he sent Elisa's into the FBI. Maybe Baked Alaska is there undercover trying to destroy Elisa, investigating this Barry Mezzi complaint.
Oh no!
Have the backing that she's supposed to have. That to me, it's just I can't believe she didn't know that he's a Fed, and now she's stuck with him to the point to where he's going to provide her a studio and all. He ain't got no money. He doesn't own a studio. He's not rich. He's not, guys.
Wait, he's a Fed and he has no money? This is the.
He's a poor Fed. He's one of the poor Feds.
Shit.
Poor family. He basically
he's a poor Fed. He's an unfed
piece of shit. He was in the military for a while, and then he joined the FBI. Big fucking deal. He never really had a job in his life unless it was Taco Bell or some shit like that.
He worked at BuzzFeed, by the way.
Yeah, he did. Remember, he said if he had to hook up with a dude, it'd be Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Remember, they did that
and you know, him working at BuzzFeed. Him working at BuzzFeed is another explanation of why he might be a Fed. They might have planted him in the media as an undercover agent.
Man, he's a fucking idiot. And the guy, he's good at talking people into doing shit, apparently. And he talked her into backstabbing.
I got a joke. I have an original joke that I have to tell you. Baked Alaska, is so poor, he could only afford I Saw Him #2 cover A.
Can't wait to get my hands on #2, man. Who does #2 work for? It's a big #2, a big fat #2. That ISM
Strand coming through.
By the way, guys,
we're 22.58% of the way to the goal. If you can get us up to 25% today, Ben and I will have a better time sleeping tonight.
Also, if you could please sign up for the Patreon. The Patreon, it's at the beginning of the month, and the Patreon always takes a big dip, and it gives me a heart attack. We need the Patreon to keep the show going, so if you guys can throw in a couple bucks, I recommend the $10 level. And actually, I'm probably you'll see some cool merch coming out for the higher levels too. So, but yeah, check it out. There's like hundreds of hours of content on the Patreon that you can go back and
manga. Soulbeat Manga in the chat says, I'm trying to tip through Streamlabs, but it won't let me without a video clip. Do you know what that problem could be?
No, I have
Because there's
no
a way
idea.
to
I don't
send
want
a
to
video clip into some streams.
Yeah,
if anybody knows what's going on there,
something is being done wrong.
In the chat.
Something is being done wrong.
All her constituents and her backers, and Denny's bragging last night on her live stream how he's going to provide her with a
show skin. I'll join Patreon.
He's showing skin right now. His face, his hand.
Keith Dickens, how much skin? Because there's a level of skin that I'm not allowed to show on YouTube. But I can do this.
Video, and she could do her own show, and don't worry about it. He's got it all covered, the material and everything. Well, of course he does. The feds are now looking to use her as a fake propaganda piece, and they got her with a guy who's already been outed as a fucking Fed. This, guys, is beyond blonde-headed root stupid. It's beyond that kind of stupid.
So
Today, we will be
once again, Bob's right.
So, yeah, that was his broken clock moment. To do Streamlabs, all you have to do is be logged in to your Streamlabs account, and you can put in a dollar amount, and if you want to type a message, you can. You don't need to insert a video clip. Do you have ADHD, Billy?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to make us money, Ben.
Okay.
What the fuck are you doing?
Where is
you
it?
need ADHD.
No.
I'm over here showing skin for our fucking cash.
You got ADHD.
I'm helping you out, Ben. I'm helping you out right now.
Okay.
You need to show some appreciation.
No.
I'm over here. I need to know right here, right now. Keith Dickens.
Okay.
So join tonight. There
Hold
you go.
on. No. You got to do it now. It'll put up.
I didn't know if Michelin Man was enough. I thought you might also need Michelin Mangina. But you're doing it, so it's good.
No.
Should I go back to my cool bit before you interrupted me, or
no, please. Let's do. Oh yeah, the thing that you sent me. Here we go.
Pearl Davis is the self-styled anti-feminist influencer, creating major buzz online with a contrarian view. She's appeared in a couple of debates on this show. It's called Uncensored.
Controversial YouTuber releases anti-Semitic song inspired by Nikki Fountains. Nick Fuentes.
Nikki Fountains?
She's dedicated to far-right commentator Nick Fuentes before later deleting it.
Why can't we talk about without getting kicked off of YouTube?
Did you see the picture of her in the bathing suit that everyone was circulating where she looks really bad in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Pearl looks like if Repsion was trying to dress up as Maya. Those of you that know Repsion and his ex-girlfriend Maya. This is like Repsion in a Maya costume.
Hitler was a good guy, but I kinda wanna know why. Now
Pearl has male pattern bitch face.
Conspiracy theories, and the more they talk, I think maybe they're right.
She was like a college volleyball player or something, or high school, something like that.
But I can't even.
She's a turd.
Well, Pearl joins me now, along with the New York author and founder of End Jew Hatred, Brooke Goldstein, over in the States. All right, Pearl, you've come on the show a couple of times, right? We've had some spirited debates about feminism and stuff like that, and I thought you've made some good points, and it's got lots of traction. Then I wake up the other day and I see this thing that's trending involving you doing this song, and I couldn't really believe what I was watching. I didn't know why did you find it funny?
Huh?
Did you find it? What
do you mean,
That was obviously nervous laughter.
She's like, huh? Like she doesn't hear what he's saying.
Funny?
Why are you laughing? Do you find it funny? Huh? And then she's like, wait a second. Last time I was on your show, I was a pick me and you loved me because I was downing other women. And now I'm here and because
I
stretched out further.
He did call her the female Andrew Tate, and he's pretty critical of Andrew Tate. But
she thought that was cool.
But they were I saw them going back and forth on Twitter over this. I haven't seen this clip. She's been on quite a few times.
This is the moment where she's realizing he's not on her side. See, Ben, see what Keith Dickens did? All because I took my shirt off? My ADHD. And we have
You do have ADHD though, right?
Yeah, you need, but right, we just got an entire year at the $25
Amazing.
level. You need to trust me. You need to trust me so we can bring money back.
Hold on
into
though.
Drunken Peasants.
Hold on though. All he said was show some flesh. He didn't say take your shirt off and flex your muscles and everything. You got to baby steps. No. You gotta give it in increments. That's not overachieving.
You're in no position. You're in no position to tell me how to kill it.
Yes, I am.
Because look what just happened. I just killed it, Ben.
You deleted it. You obviously thought you shouldn't have posted it.
Giving away the farm.
Did you do that?
I'm saving the farm, Ben.
I mean, the point was more about cancel culture and people getting kicked off.
Hey, if you guys don't think that was good, stop giving us money.
If I want to. Not sure why Streamlabs was being a butt, but thank you, sweet boys, for all you do, and happy August, everyone.
Happy August, Leo, a fellow Leo. This is Leo Rising Month. I got so many Leos in my life, and I'm glad to welcome one more.
When Billy goes pompous, I gain the focus of a singularity.
Genuine question.
I mean, the point was more.
You feel that singularity, Ben?
Can we get through with this?
And people
we could.
You wanted to watch
it. There's money coming in. There's money coming in.
Finish the song. It was more about like you can't talk about this topic without being canceled by the left and the right. I don't really have a strong opinion either way. It was kind of just like tongue in cheek. I didn't really expect it to get that crazy.
Oh, was it, Pearl?
So she was saying that was tongue in cheek. That's kind of what
I was being tongue in cheek.
That's what Nick Fuentes used to claim until he got a lot of positive attention for it, and now he just comes right out and says it.
Guys, I was making an anti-Semitic song just because I was cheeky.
I don't know why they say that, but that's not true.
I mean, Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist. He's a Holocaust denier. He said afterwards that you had dropped a diss track on
She's
the
like,
Jews.
yeah, no, when you put it that way, it does make me sound like an idiot for trying to pander to his crowd. The way you say these things that are completely true about me makes me think I'm not a good person. Hold on.
Clearly took to be something which was, mocking Jewish people, talking about, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. What do you want to know why?
Well, it was more like, why can't we talk about it? It wasn't like
you talked about the more conspiracy theories you've heard about Hitler and the Holocaust, presumably.
I'm a fan of conspiracy theory. People think I'm part of the CIA. There's a whole conspiracy thing online. And, I'm not for, silencing it either way. The point of the song isn't, I really have an opinion on the matter. It's more, I don't think we should ban people off of social media. So far so that I think it should be illegal to ban anybody off of social media unless they're inciting violence. That was the point of the song.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, so she's against private businesses controlling how they control their platform, is what she's saying.
But not only that, anything less than violence should be allowed. So I assume that means doxing is allowed?
Yeah, doxing.
I assume that means...
Yeah.
I assume that means a group attacks and trolling. Trolling to a extent. The trolling's obviously allowed.
It's weird though, because it's okay to dox but not swat, but doxing always leads to swatting. You know what I mean? Doxing is the precursor. The doxer puts the dox out there knowing that there's swatters out there. You know what I mean?
We can't blame the doxer for the work of the swatter.
Yeah.
Really, it was more like tongue-in-cheek.
But just to be clear, what are the conspiracy theories surrounding Hitler, which you feel the more you hear them, the more you're interested in them?
Well, I don't know because I can't hear them.
Huh?
I don't know
the ones. You know the ones.
She's like, come on.
You see, the thing is, Pierce. The thing is, I don't hear about them, so how could I know? So I wrote this song about them. And now that I'm here on the news and I'm able to talk about them on an actual video platform, which completely contradicts me saying that we can't talk about them, even though I have the floor to talk about them, I unfortunately am a know-nothing bitch, and I can't add anything to the conversation anyways.
Thing. It's a joke among male-dominated spaces that based women are CIA plants or psyops meant to distract us from achieving greatness.
I feel like the CIA thing gets thrown around way too much. Everyone, more people are in the CIA than they're not at this point. We're all just in the CIA.
Thing. There's tons of history showing the CIA does stuff like this for many, many, many decades. So the idea that they've just cleaned up their act recently is as dumb as someone making a claim.
That's no reason for me to believe someone's part of the CIA just because it happens. There should be a reason for me to think they're one, not just
Ben,
that it
let
happens.
me tell you about Glonin.
I know. I don't want to hear about it. Actually, I don't.
That Nick Fuentes.
Well, I wasn't even talking about Nick. I was thinking of Ye, to be honest. I don't know why they put the.
I mean, they were doing.
She's like, Nick doesn't make songs. Ye does. I wouldn't make a song for Nick. I made a song because I want to get signed to Ye's label.
Was the inspiration for that song? I was thinking of Ye.
You are aware of the big backlash to this and the deep upset from the Jewish community.
I certainly am now. I just posted that song and I woke up and I was like, article. I was like, golly.
Right, she's just only now aware.
You know.
But she knew about Nick Fuentes and Ye and saw what happened to them. What happened to Ye, like how he ruined his own career. He lost like $1 billion because of what he was doing.
The idea that she is doing this as a controlled opposition plant, that maybe not CIA, but controlled opposition, to make the opposition look so horrible. She could definitely be in that position, because shortly after this happened, she went and tweeted 16-year-olds are sexier than 26-year-olds. Fact.
And Nick Fuentes has been saying the same thing. I just think that there's money to be made in this space. I mean,
No,
Nick Fuentes was a little shit teenager a couple years ago, and now he's having dinner with Kanye West and the former president.
I think that
He's a millionaire, multi-millionaire.
There is.
I just can't. I don't gravitate towards conspiracy theories. I just don't. Like if I see evidence of one, then I'm like,
you should look into evidence. You should look into evidence for people getting funded by the opposition in the United States political scene.
The fact that it happens doesn't mean I have to assume it's happening anytime I see someone that's getting attention.
When you see someone like this getting attention, you have to question why they're getting attention.
Because there's a bunch of dumb people in the space, like Fresh and Fit, like Andrew Tate, like Nick Fuentes, and there's tons of money to be made in it. And it's easy because you're appealing to the lowest common denominator. And then you get on Pierce Morgan and you get on all these other places.
Like my whole point was that cancel culture is wrong. I am not speaking one way or the other about the issues. My question is, why are we canceled for talking about certain topics?
So you would allow Holocaust deniers to have space on social media to promote Holocaust denial to millions of people? You have 2 million people who subscribe to your YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big audience of people.
I'm not at 2 million yet. I'd like to be.
Right, but you have a lot of people that follow you on various social media platforms.
Yeah.
You put a video like that up, and there are going to be some impressionable young minds going, hang on, what's Pearl saying? Adolf Hitler? Not saying he's a good guy, but I want to know why. The more conspiracies theories I hear, the more I have to think about it.
But
I took that to mean that you agree with Fuentes and people like that.
Why did you cut off the end of the song?
She's very concerned with him playing the entire song. She's like, oh, you're just missing the context of this song.
She wants to get her full commissions for the song being played on the TV.
Even have the conversation.
I don't even know if this is Talk TV. I don't know if this is like a cable channel somewhere or if this is solely online. I know this is where he went when he got fired from BBC. So
I think he probably has a deal in the UK, and this is the American pickup of it.
Sometimes he's in the UK when he does this show, and a couple times he's been in the States when he's done it too.
By the left and the right.
But what
the
is
point is any speech.
No,
I think
it's not any
speech.
It's not any speech. What is the conversation about Hitler and conspiracy theories and the Holocaust that you want to have?
This is on Talk TV Network and Sky News Australia.
Okay. Talk TV Network is so like an online network or like an actual. It has TV in its name, so I'm guessing it's on TV. But
it says it's a television channel.
Situation with these individuals.
Conversation. My lane is feminism. That's what
you're singing about Adolf Hitler.
Can I finish?
Yeah, but you are singing
Adolf Hitler, the world's greatest feminist.
About
okay.
Hitler. So you do want to have that conversation.
I want anybody that wants to speak on social media to be able to speak about what they want to talk about,
including Holocaust
without
denial.
getting banned. Whatever.
Does she have the Riz?
About.
She does not have the Riz. She has a rich father. Her father is a businessman, very rich. She's a Nepo baby, and she does not have the Riz. She uses his money and her placement within that to be an influencer. This is not Riz. This is completely bought and paid for goon dog.
She played. I've never heard of this university before, but she played for Elmhurst University women's volleyball, and her name is actually Hannah. Pearl is her middle name. I did a little research on her when
Hannah Pearl Davis, I think, is her full online name. But look at that position, middle Hitler.
She's 6'1". Wow,
6'1". Holy shit.
Yeah. In that picture of her in the bathing suit, she's standing next to another woman, and she's way taller. So, I guess so.
I gotta be honest with you right now, Ben. I would pay so much money to see a picture of her and Eric July standing together.
Oh, she's definitely taller than Eric July. Easily.
I want to see how tall, though. I want to see it.
We saw him next to Gina Carano. They were both slouching. They both had leg bend. Gina Carano is 5'8".
Him. I want to see him and Pearl.
If they want to talk about that, as long as they're not inciting violence, I think people.
Of course, they're inciting violence. They're inciting a hatred of Jewish people.
Seth looks in the chat, says she's taller than Billy on a bad spine day. I guarantee you, if I was ever having a bad spine day next to her, I'd make damn sure she was having a bad spine day too. I'm not leaving that photograph shorter than her.
Social media is the new town square. Right? You used to be able to go and say your opinions.
You would also get flogged in the town square if you did something bad.
Town square. Now we have
mid-Hitler.
Corporations censoring what can and cannot be said. And I think that's wrong. I think that should be illegal.
Well, let me bring in Brooke, who's been listening to this. Brooke, I don't think Pearl quite understands why the wording of this song, which she deleted, to be clear, so obviously realised it's not played out.
She shouldn't have deleted it, because that makes it even worse, honestly.
She deleted her post. Yep. She deleted her post where she said 16-year-olds are hotter than 26-year-olds too.
She did that too? Nick Fuentes said the same thing. He literally said the same thing, except for he was like, well, I think when I'm 35, I'll get a 15-year-old bride or something like that. It was something like that.
The way she hoped. The offences caused to the Jewish community. Why was it so offensive?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on and for highlighting this issue. Not necessarily highlighting
She's got Botox eyes.
Pearl, but highlighting the issue that what you pointed out is that we're really facing a crisis of societal conscience, where someone like Pearl, who engages in hate speech, and actually the irony is she's complaining about being canceled, and yet she's on your platform. She has millions of viewers on the internet. And
yeah, she is not enjoying herself. Usually she has this shit-eating grin on her face because she's the one being the troll, but now she's not in a good position here.
There was that moment where he asked her why she's laughing, where she had the realization that she was not in for a fair conversation.
No.
Or not a fair, a conversation weighted in her favor.
Exactly.
And on social media, and she's complaining about being canceled. The crisis is that this is what is profitable now. This clickbait, this type of racial incitement is profitable on the internet. And I'm sitting here, I'm listening to Pearl. I don't know if she's just plain stupid or she's actually quite intelligent and knows that what she's doing is so sensational that it's going to make her a lot of money. But I want to say one thing. Pearl will disappear.
There's more of an audience for this than there has been in a very long time. The type of rhetoric she's espousing. And she can look, because 30 years ago, Nick Fuentes would have been pushed into the shadows. No one would have, he would have picked up some rednecks in Alabama or whatever. But Nick Fuentes gets mainstream attention with his rhetoric.
30 years ago, he might have been a reoccurring guest on. Might have been a reoccurring guest on Howard Stern or Jerry Springer.
Yeah, that they would have mocked and laughed at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is ding, 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 the way shit should have worked. It was pretty effective at the time to have these people on, let them speak, and then make fun of them. We're literally the only people doing it, Ben. We're keeping America not under Nazi regime by our quips towards these Nazis. We're the only Captain Americas left, Ben.
I'll be Bucky.
Disappear like many others before
We're
her,
super
because
soldiers.
This is something that's just a moment in time. She's like a train wreck. It's like a car crash. You know, for example, you know you shouldn't be looking at it, but you can't
Hank
take your
says,
eyes
"Make
off
America
it."
Seattle again." Yes, Massa.
Make one more point. I think it's so important, especially on this platform. Hatred is taught. Nobody is born like this. And I talk about it a lot in my book about the dangers of hate education. And it's not something that we can debate, that we can engage in a rational argument with. You can see what her opinions are. She thinks women shouldn't vote. Women shouldn't have the right to divorce. She thinks that women should be able to work.
Now she's fallen into it. Now she's got that smile. That's the one thing I noticed about her, because she says the dumbest shit, the most provocative shit, and she just smiles about it, almost like she knows she doesn't actually mean it. She just knows it works.
I didn't say
it's about all she actually does know. When it gets any deeper than her low-level intellect, she drowns.
Yeah.
Every time. We've seen it multiple times this episode. When somebody else points out the faults in her perspective, she turns to the emoji language of based, the meme language, because she's her entire intellect is built on a pile of memes, and memes are viral thoughts that were not original to your own.
The weird thing is
that's
like
how memes exist.
If she had her way, people would be telling her to shut the fuck up and like get back in the kitchen. She wouldn't be able to, wouldn't be able to be on TV to like espouse her opinion.
She would probably live a better life if someone was telling her to shut the fuck up and get back into the kitchen, because this here right now does not look like it's going to pay out for her.
Crazy
Maybe I'm wrong.
things about Hitler. But there's no rational. Please don't interrupt.
No, now you're putting words in my mouth. Moments after she said based in response to the words.
Rational.
Like, look, I was agreeing with you, but then now I'm saying you're putting words in my mouth. Look at these mixed signals I'm sending.
Argument with someone like this, and this is a mistake that my community makes, the Jewish community, very often, that they think they can bring facts to the table, that they can debate somebody like Pearl, and it's, you know, you're going to get somewhere. You're not going to get anywhere. You're going to get somewhere only by shedding the light on this type of bigotry to expose someone like her.
Let me just do
and right here, if I was Pearl, and I was trying to make the point, if I was trying to make a point against what she said, she at this moment I would say, and that's the problem, you won't engage with thought. You want to silence it, you want to mute it, and that means at what point does thought become illegal? When do we become thought criminals? That's the argument you would have to make from here. That's where you have to say, my entire point was to show that we are guilty of thought, and thought should never be a crime. Action should be a crime. And your action taking away my thought and my ability to think is the real crime here. That's how you'd have to go with this. Pearl, unfortunately, der beast.
Yeah.
Not going to work.
All right, bro, let me go back to Pearl. Pearl, let me just offer you some advice, right? Because I don't think you're stupid. And in the 2 appearances you've made previously on this program, I thought it was interesting. It was controversial in some ways, but actually a lot of people would have agreed with some of the things you were saying. There's no question about
Ben,
that.
I have another original joke I have to tell that I just thought of. Pearl Davis looks like a great value Gina Davis.
Was Gina Davis red-haired? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, she was very much red-haired in a lot of her roles.
I always think of her in Beetlejuice and A League of Their Own. Those are like the 2 main ones that I always think of.
You seem to know
Thelma and Louise.
Yep.
Was.
And then I think I've kind of fallen out. I don't know what else I can think of after that.
Someone like Nick Fuentes doesn't know where the line is. Someone like Kanye West, who I interviewed after he went on some weird anti-Semitic trope nonsense.
I like how he won't just say yay.
Yeah,
Say
I
yay.
don't like saying yay either. It sounds ridiculous coming out of my mouth. I just call him Kanye also. I don't really care.
I call him Kanye too. I wish I could remember to call him yay.
When I hear yay, I just think of cocaine. Like yay was what I called cocaine when I was in college.
Hey,
Wiped
do it
out
for
by
the
what he
yay.
did, or what he said about the Jewish people, because there are certain things where I am
Gina
absolutely
Davis was in
support
Earth
of the
Girls Are
concept of
Easy.
free
Holy
speech,
shit,
right?
Seth looks.
Yep,
I
with
forgot she
Jeff
was in that.
Goldblum, Damon
Did it have
Wayans,
Goldblum
and
in it too.
Goldblum, Damon Wayans, and Jim Carrey.
And Jim Carrey.
Yeah, were the three aliens.
What a
around
fucking
telling
cast.
Jewish people.
Yeah,
What
but
a cast that
but
movie had.
Damon Wayans and Jim Carrey hardly have any lines. They have like almost no lines.
Yeah.
It's like all physical stuff, which they're both good at it, so that's cool.
I remember watching it.
I'm wondering if that's how
And
Jim Carrey
it was-
got hooked up with In Living Color through that. That's probably how he met the Wayans brothers through that.
Yeah, no, I remember watching that, and I saw it well after it would have like originally came out. It was like maybe like 5 or 6, 7 years later after those guys had already blown up, and I was like, "This is I was like, Jim Carrey was like the biggest movie star at the time. I'm like, how is this movie not huge? This has all these stars in it. Jeff Goldblum was in Jurassic Park at the time.
It was like mid-80s.
Damon Wayans was doing tons of movies. When I saw it, Gina Davis was in it. I was like, how is this not the biggest movie in the world? Because I was still a kid and didn't realize that no matter how much star power's in a movie, it's not going to be like guaranteed success. But in my mind, I was like, how is this not the hugest movie of all time?
Julie Brown was in it too. Like not downtown Julie Brown, but the other Julie Brown from MTV. She had like a sketch.
The brown Julie Brown?
Julie Brown.
The brown Julie Brown or the white Julie Brown?
The white Julie, downtown Julie Brown was the
Okay.
brown Julie Brown. So this was just Julie Brown. She had like red hair.
They both.
Anyway,
they both
please
worked
let's
for
get through
MTV,
this.
right?
Please. What?
Didn't happen.
Julie Browns both worked for MTV, right?
Yes, at the same time.
was
There was
so
downtown
confusing.
Julie Brown, who was an African woman, a woman of African descent, and then just Julie Brown, who had like red hair, who did like more comedy stuff.
It's Fuentes.
that's
And people are
not-
like, Fuentes does say things like that.
But I'm not him. So you're bringing me up. So it's like
no, but when you sing a song,
right,
and you talk about
who
Hitler,
determines what the line is, Pierce?
Well, I'm asking
who determines? Do you get to determine it?
No, I'm
Does she
asking,
get to determine
I'm asking
it?
you
Who
to,
gets to determine what the line
I'm asking you
is?
to work out in your head.
I'm saying the
you're not a
line-
stupid person.
the line-
When you say, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. Right? When you talk about the more conspiracy theories about him I hear, the more I'm like, well, that's interesting. I'm just like agog that even now you don't seem to really grasp why singing that and releasing it to millions of people is incredibly offensive to Jewish people.
I think at the end of the day, Pierce, I don't think it's for you to determine what speech should be allowed and not
No,
allowed.
what about you determining? Why did you delete it?
Why did I delete it?
Yeah.
Because it was just a headache, Pierce.
Because you knew it was wrong?
I just think it's like, it's not the hill I'm trying to die on.
Right, but why did you choose that hill to die on?
I didn't choose this hill to die
You did.
on.
You released the video.
I also released 10 different videos about
Yeah, but they're
10
not
different
all
other
basically.
topics
But they're
that
not
day.
talking about Adolf Hitler, are they?
Are we not allowed to talk about him?
You can talk about Hitler right to the point you say the more conspiracy theories I hear about him.
Look, I think that anyone should be allowed to speak about any conspiracy theory on social media. That is my point. It's not about Hitler. It's not
If
about
you really
the
believe what you
Holocaust.
did wasn't wrong, you wouldn't have deleted it.
Oh, wow.
Bang, bang.
That's what I was saying.
Don't you think?
I agree with Pearl.
Go on, bro.
If I may just say one thing, as an attorney, I have to say that I do agree with her, that I am a free speech purist. And I think that even bigotry should be able to be spoken in the public sphere. But the
Look at
problem
her
of cancel
winning this argument.
culture is not against anti-Jewish speech. I think that's very clear. We see the scourge of anti-Semitism and Jew hatred rising on the internet. The problem is that there's no consequences for it, and the way that private companies
How are there no consequences for it?
canceling is they're going after pro-Jewish speech. They're going after pro-Israel speech. I can't tell you how many times I'm contacted by people and often my own clients who are shut down on social media for saying anything positive about Jewish people, about Judaism, or about Israel. Yet these social media companies are unequally applying their own standards. And, while they're, for example, shutting down COVID deniers, they are allowing Holocaust denial speech. They are allowing people like Pearl to spew her hatred. So if we are really free speech purists, and that's what we are saying that companies should do, they should allow all speech.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, I would just say this to you, Pearl.
Unless it's incitement to immediate violence.
Right, I would say this to you, Pearl.
So we agree.
No, Pearl, I would say this to you in conclusion.
Yeah, she literally said, I agree with you at the beginning of that statement. So we agree. Yeah.
Yes, Pearl. I'm glad it registered that she agrees with you when she started the statement that you guys agree on with I agree with you.
Wow.
You fucking dingbat.
On the same team now.
In conclusion, look, you deleted this, so you clearly felt bad about what you'd put up, or you wouldn't have deleted it. You accept that?
No.
You don't accept it?
I just, it's kind of a headache. I was like, well, it just seems like a lot of headache to me.
Right. Or did you realize actually in that moment, from the visceral reaction from the Jewish community, you crossed a line that you yourself should have worked out was there?
Look, at the end of the day, Pierce, the song was about freedom of speech. It wasn't one way or the other. The song was about why can't we have these conversations on social media, and why do I keep getting...
About why Hitler may be a good guy.
And why do I keep seeing people get banned on social media? My point is, I don't think there should be a line unless you're inciting violence.
Here's a line.
Pierce, would we agree on that?
Listen,
yes or no? Yes or no? Would we agree?
Here's my point.
No? Yes?
You haven't
no?
answered my question.
Okay.
I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. I want to know why what?
We can't have the conversation without being canceled by the left and the right. I just don't understand why you guys edit. You guys cut out the end of the song.
Paul,
you did 75. Okay.
The conversation about whether Hitler was a good guy. You want to have that conversation?
I think that
he murdered 12 million people,
my whole
including
point,
6 million Jewish
people.
Whoa!
Was it 12 million now?
I'm not even going there.
I thought it was 6 million. Did he just double it?
No, he's saying 12 million people overall and 6 million of them were Jews, is what he's saying.
Oh, shit.
My whole point is we should be able to have that conversation.
But whether he's a good guy?
Yes, because it causes more commotion when you're starting to censor people.
I don't agree.
I think that's wrong. I think it's wrong to censor anybody.
Well, you know what? You can have that conversation. You had that conversation. You posted it. You haven't been cancelled. I've had you on the show because I thought you might, with time, to think about this, regret what you did because you can clearly, you're not stupid. You do understand the offensive
stupid.
And wanting to have the right to debate whether Hitler's a good guy is just criminals.
No, I want anity to be able to speak on any platform. That was the point of the song.
All right, let's leave it
there.
there.
Can I point out a nuance here?
I've got Brooke, I'm sorry. I'm afraid we've run out of time, but thank you.
Oh, boo.
I wanted to hear it.
Give her a nuance.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Give her a nuance. I liked when she talked.
Yeah.
She obviously gets paid to make her side look good.
Exactly.
And I think it's pretty obvious that Pearl gets paid to make her side look bad.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's quite I don't even know. It's pretty staggering, I guess is the word. Like it's when I found out she existed, I'm like, who is this? Because she's not even charismatic at all.
Yeah, her dad's rich. Her family is rich. They own a big company, and she's just a person who was able to fail from a very high level. And when she finally settled, she was still, after all the failure, was still above the rest of society. And now she's able to just consistently fail upwards because of her connections.
So
that being said, Stabby in our chat says, guys, come on, Hitler, not that bad. Well, here's the thing, Stabby. Hitler, like Santa Claus, both do not exist. But Santa Claus brings good based off of the ideas that Santa Claus brings. And guess what? Hitler not bringing good off of his ideas.
Everyone, please like the stream. We're going to end the show in a couple minutes here and go do our Patreon stuff. You should join us. Please like the stream. Don't forget that we also have an audio version of the show where we do a free pre-show. It not only is it extra content for free, but it also really helps the show out a lot. All you got to do is you can go down each episode. Almost all of them have a pre-show. There's a couple that don't, but almost all of them do. What it basically is, it's the first like 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes 15 before we go live, and whatever we talk about before we go live. And only on the audio stream do I include that at the beginning of each show. And then we go into the regular show after that you guys saw here. So just go there, put it on in the background, subscribe to it on whatever audio platform. Like some people do Podcast Addict. Like if you listen on your phone, you can go to Play Store and do Podcast Addict and download that. There's Spotify, there's Apple Podcasts. There's a ton of them. There's too many of them. But go to any of them and find us, search up Drunken Peasants, and follow us there. Please. And download every episode and listen to it as much as you can. And vote for Jizzo. Man, they don't really make themed porn anymore, but they could do...
what do you mean?
They don't really make, like, full-length motion picture, like, themed porn, right?
They do a lot of that, yeah.
Because they did I remember they did a Pirates of the Caribbean one 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It was very misleading.
They do tons of theme porn.
So they could do a Jizzo.
They've got it to the point.
They could do a Lizzo themed BBW.
They've got it to the point now where they do porn where they just use the actual names of the superheroes in the porn parodies. They just use Batman because it's obviously a parody because it's porn. They call it a porn parody, like Batman's getting railing Wonder Woman, and they just use the same names. They don't even care anymore. Some of them are still creative with it.
Yeah, because it seems like there was a time where porn was reviewed by Siskel and Ebert. It was treated like actual cinema at one point.
Yeah.
And I feel like there has been a slow decline on that. It's they don't pretend like it's an art form anymore.
Well, yeah, because they don't have to. They've lifted the floodgate on it. Before it had to be considered art for it to exist. Now they're like, nah, we know the gimmick.
The only porn I see is the free clip porn that's out there that's in clips.
Everybody in the chat and is judging your knowledge of porn.
That's so weird.
They're like, okay,
I don't watch
either Ben
superhero
watch
porn.
Enough porn or only watches the worst porn.
No, it's just the clips, it's just clips, and none of it is themed to be parodies of movies or anything like that. I don't see new Edward Penis Hands or I remember Over the Rainbow. There was that midget porn from the 80s called Over the Rainbow that I saw. There was another one called, instead of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, it was called Itty Bitty Gang Bang.
I remember that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit was hilarious. And I was definitely too young to legally be watching it back then. I was probably in high school when I saw that shit, but that shit was hilarious.
Yeah, I had a long run of getting dwarf porn.
Yeah, there was all kinds of weird. Edward Penis Hands was just.
I used to download dwarf porn on Kazaa, LimeWire all the time.
It's a good way to get all kinds of viruses.
Yeah, I probably had a bunch. My dad would get viruses though too. He would download these porn dialers.
Oh no!
He would dial out to the U.S. Virgin Islands, and we'd get $180 charges each time he'd connect to our fucking phone bill. Yeah, we had to call and cancel a couple of phone lines over my dad and his weird porn. Lord of the G Strings. That was a G. It was like a softcore porn, right? Lord of the G Strings. They didn't even have real penetration. They did that thing where they just bump into each other's crotches. from a camera angle that hides penetration.
Skinamax. Back in the day,
but Lord of the G-String specifically
okay.
was like a softcore porn title.
Okay.
Because they would sell it at Suncoast Video.
There was one that
buy it, and they wouldn't sell real porn there. They would just sell the softcore stuff.
There was one that I watched that had Buff Bagwell in it. It was like a softcore porn.
Yeah, that was like Paradise Island or something. It was like a sequel to the. And it was these hot girls going through the forest. And he was in a hot tub.
Yeah. Buff Bagwell. I think it was like post-wrestling Buff Bagwell, too, or something. I think he did it after. Or
I think it was pre-wrestling.
Was it? Okay.
I think it was pre, but
because he got in
it was
young.
pre-WCW, I think.
Interesting. Yeah.
It would have been early on.
They had Buff Bagwell's mom on a pole match. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I did not like her.
You didn't like his mom?
I did not like that gimmick.
Oh, that's a Jim Cornette thing. Put him on a pole.
Yeah.
He was in No Holds Barred. I had no idea. I'm looking at his
Buff Bagwell?
Yeah, but I don't see his porn in his filmography. I remember we watched the Ultimate Warrior movie at one point too. I think you were there when we watched it. I think it was during the 24-hour show that we had at the old studio in downtown. We watched the Ultimate Warriors movie. Was really awful. It was pretty terrible. All right. So
yeah, we got to get to this after show. Patrons, $10 and above, come watch with us.
All right. We are going to do that now. See you all there. Sign up, patreon.com/DP. Do it now. See you there.
Do it now.